So far, I haven't seen it transfer up. I have 2 bars that's doing this. Whatever, dog. I don't understand nothing about this shit. I don't know what works. I don't know what the indicators are.
And I remember the first time. And I remember the first time.
I went like 27 hours without eating.
First time.
I finally ate something.
First time. First
Is that
time.
on purpose or was that
And
one
I
of those things you
remember
yeah,
the first time.
I didn't. I realized at some point, but then at that point it was already like,
20 hours?
fuck. Yeah. I was like, fuck. I haven't eaten nothing. Dying. I don't feel like getting up.
Why she runs from me, now you wanna come back and now you love from me, but I don't think why you think you deserve some trust from me and your heart is painted black, girl it's
I
up.
don't expect it
Fuck
money.
your company, why she runs from me, now you wanna come
My
back and
girlfriend
now
went
you
to Florida
love
for a
from
week,
me, but I
so.
don't think why you think you deserve some trust from me and your heart is painted black,
Well,
girl
you're
it's
going to Florida
up.
for a week.
Fuck your company, and I remember the first time you had me in your hold, and you
Everybody's going to
corrupted the
Florida.
safe, I'll never know, yeah, Vincent that is darkness, watch all his friends turn to foes, yeah, trying to troubleshoot me, but I cannot be screwed, trying to sell me a dream, trying to sell me a
Death
home, trying to
sentence.
sell me a lie, do you think I'm a joke, swear I'm not a bad guy, but it's past my only rule, never been hate in my heart, but you burned it in my soul, and I control myself, and
My country's trying to bring back. Alright, time for you to get to your 4th dose. You guys are insane.
Yeah, come on, man. What has changed from that one, from this one to that one?
I'm so tired of them. And then boost Ontario, boost Ontario. I need my 4th shot. I'm like, bro, what is going on? How y'all get tricked this bad?
Like I said, after 2 made sense. 4, nigga, if you don't got the cure, stop talking. What are these incremental, small little boosts gonna do at that point? Like, nigga, this is not an update. I'm not a CPU, nigga. This is not a software update.
The science is changing, Vince.
I'm not listening to that. Tell me what the science trying to cure. And I'm not even the guy who be doing all this. I'm not against science.
You're not, and neither am I, but it's just like at some point it's like, come on, dude. So now we take two boosters. That you're literally doing the meme with the guy with the bingo card where it's like after your 10th. Like don't make the meme real. Don't do that.
Yeah, they just experimenting on y'all at this point. They're like, how many needles can you stick in the description? They notice.
Brother. This guy. Welcome to Tower Hiatus. Give it a bit and we'll reach hiatus level. I read the better translation that I didn't use. I'm not gonna remake that video, but it seemed more like a precautionary hiatus because he could see himself slipping. But whatever, I'll take the break. The only thing I don't like about it is like my Patreon's kind of being carried by early access content, so I'll have to find something to hold them over for now for my tier 3s and whatnot. But it's cool.
Hey, well, just do small Kubera videos.
Yeah.
So,
Oh shoot, I'm on the wrong scene. I'm on the wrong scene again. Wrong scene again. There we go. Right scene. How y'all doing?
salute people in chat. I can't see y'all, but salute to you.
How goes it, people? How y'all doing? How are you doing, brother Vince? On this chill Sunday or whatever.
Yeah. You know, everybody going away, sitting here, chilling by the dark side.
I'll be going.
You know, I haven't been on Twitter much because I've been immersed in different things. And when I be really immersed, I'll be paying attention.
Yeah, I had like we was at my friend's house and we were watching a lot of like the stuff that I like to watch. We actually watched a documentary from the Daily Wire, the Roe v. Wade one, overturning sorry, I gotta look at it again. Hold on, I have it here in my can't remember the title of it. Oh, choosing death, the legacy of Roe, and then what is a woman? And we watched some other stuff, and he was showing me some stuff that he likes to watch and blah blah whatever and everything. But life is good. A coworker bought me Hollow Knight, which okay, I like it. You were watching the Spectacular Spider-Man. I think I saw they put it on Netflix, right? That's dope. I like that.
Oh, we need to watch that in here.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
ain't watched it yet.
At all?
Oh,
Mm. You know what? I'll hold on. Let me get off this screen for a sec. I'll just chill here for the time being. My just chilling screen. Activate. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So we're just watching that kind of stuff, whatever. And then, long story short, like usually we like Sunday, Saturday, I kind of just hang out till the night, come home, zooted, and go to bed and start the day in the morning. Um, he had girlfriend troubles, so the night was cut short. I was here. I said, let's stream, let's talk. So actually, before I start, I don't know how many of you guys are here. I know it's a late Sunday, and I don't stay here long, but how many of you guys here are Tower God and or One Piece people? How was your reverie? Was the reverie dope? I know Jay was hosting a reverie. How did that go? I don't. Maybe I'll ask again tomorrow at a better time. I want to know what went. I actually didn't see a second of it, and I know that Booktuber you like or you watch. Sorry, at least is there Murphy something?
oh, salute.
Yeah, I think she was in it. And I don't know who else was in it. I think the only one I know, but yeah, watched the reverie yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gone
I
about
just
halfway
like her.
through and had fun. Okay, as long as you got it good. For anyone who doesn't know, I was technically first of all, obviously it wasn't meant to be in the cards that day. Anyways, that's the day Roger went down. Rogers, like the internet. So I couldn't. I guess the only way for me to be able to be in that reverie was to be on my phone. But then because everybody was on Kudo, or whatever, right, my shit was slow as hell. So I probably couldn't have joined anyways. But I did kind of get shoehorned in like at the very end, and I was supposed to be there. I guess when all the big YouTubers left. But personally, I have a huge ego problem, and I'd rather be part of the main event and invited formally, and there be an announcement and stuff like that about it. I want to be in the fucking thumbnail. I want the artwork, and if I'm not getting that, I don't want to be a part of it. So you can find me at the Get a Reverie with Virgo. That's my home. So I felt slighted, honestly. So I didn't want to be. It's kind of like when people invite me certain places and they kind of invite me last second. I just don't go. My friend did that with a wedding once, and I'm like, nah, you thought about me? Like, bro, congratulations getting married, but I'm not fucking coming. So Murphy was there. She was great. That's good.
Hey, I fuck with her heavy. I mean,
Mm.
at this point though, all right, I know all the goods, but you know, she's cool.
I don't know what that means, but I'll let you rock. So I used to go on
Go ahead.
hiatus. He been writing straight
No,
garbage the
no,
last
yeah.
two chapters. He said
Oh shit.
he said this is a well-deserved break.
Uh,
That's crazy.
yeah.
No, he wants to be big in Tokyo. I don't care about being big, man. I just want to like be able. I just need the financial freedom to live the way I need
All
to
right,
live.
yeah. Let's rephrase that for those of y'all who don't know. You don't need to be big from the standpoint of being famous. We don't care about that. We need some money.
Yeah, I'm on my Nipsey Hussle gimmick. If you never heard the line, I don't want fame, I want funds. I want to be. I guess have a, see, to me it's not necessarily about being rich or a high earner. I don't care about being a multi-millionaire like that. It's about financial freedom. That's more important to me. I want to be wealthy. That's what I
Yeah,
care
he
about.
wants to make videos and y'all talk to y'all, and when he don't feel like talking to y'all, go sit down.
So there's that. But all right, I'm glad it went well. But yeah, there's also the hiatus for Tower of God. We are. I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have. Maybe there was some writings on the wall, but it caught me off guard. I could. I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be a little honest. I kind of could use it. Like I'm okay with it. The same way I was okay with Oda's break. I think this break won't be as long as the other ones. I truly think he'll be back end of the year. I don't know why. I do. Or early 2023. 2020. Yeah, that's next year. But maybe I'm wrong. But you guys know the content won't stop. It'll be there. It might not be as frequent. We might stop getting 7 videos to 6 videos a week and back to like 4 or 5. But I'll definitely be streaming.
Don't
more
worry,
often.
we will do some cool stuff.
Me and him got some things in the works, so don't worry about it. And definitely when it's all said and done, might as well just wait until the next 7 weeks until everything is done, and then we'll just have that big discussion we had like last time. Just do it.
Yeah.
I was gonna do it after the Nest was done, but I think at this point we should just do it when all the chapters are out, so it's fine. But
Okay.
yeah. So anyways, on to the main event for the night, so to speak. You guys know, for you guys who follow me closely on a lot of different platforms, not just kind of see the videos I put out, I'm pretty passionate about other things like that's not like nerd culture related. Like, you know, I do really, really care about storytelling. Truly. Yes, you're right. Kubera time. Yes. I'm about to put out a video. Like, I won't lie to you. Like, hey, give it a fair shake. I won't hold you. It's already in the works. Give it a fair shake. Let's get those numbers up. But I'm passionate about like current events, politics, you know, relationships, dating. I have a myriad of interests, sports, blah blah yada yada. It's not just like anime and manga stuff, but I do care about it, especially storytelling for all mediums. Because did I ever tell you about the class I took that taught me how to write for all media? Like even as a team for like a sitcom where it's episodic.
Oh shit.
No, that's
Oh,
actually
okay,
that's pretty recent. Did that in like 2018. It's pretty recent. It wasn't something I did like years ago. So I learned how to do that, write like an actual script. I learned how to write like let's say you're an artist and you're my artist and I can't draw, how to like do it, like write it a certain way that you know what to draw, but I'll also give you artistic freedom. So, you know, I'm passionate about a myriad of things. And one of them is kind of like, you know, nowadays, because I think the older I get, the more it definitely affects me. I pay taxes, blah, blah, yada, yada. It's current events and politics and stuff. And that's like, I mostly stay in North America, so Canada, America. I'm Canadian. I feel like people forget that all the time. I'm not American. But, and then I'm trying to branch to the UK a little bit.
Oh,
But,
that's on you. I don't know nothing about them. Little jokers.
Nah,
I got one
I've seen
couple
I've seen
UK.
some of the former strike in the Netherlands and things like that. I was talking about it the other day. I kind of like seeing this hero's journey that a lot of people go through, because I think it's kind of very consistent with what a lot of people do, and it's kind of going from, I guess, somewhat, I guess, a super crazy lefty and this to like being normal. And sometimes you transition to the right and you become normal, or you go to the right to the left back to normal. I'm sure there's like all different types of journey, but it's very interesting. Vince had shown me this video from someone he called Olivia. Jesus Christ, scared the fuck out of me. Thank you for the subscription. The gift subs, my guy Zodiac. I appreciate it. Olivia's son Via, yeah. And she talks about, literally the video is called "I Had a Ben Shapiro / Jordan Peterson." What is with? Is this? It's just like a Gen Z like typing stylistic choice with the all lowercase. It's bothering my grammar brain. Sorry, I just realized this. But I think this is a really good video to highlight just kind of how some people get indoctrinated to some beliefs, but the necessary steps some people take to break it. And there's actually a catalyst for the reason why I started this video. Who's your guys? If you guys have a favorite channel or favorite like YouTuber or something, who is that? Just out of curiosity, humor me for a second. Do you have one, Vince?
My bad.
What happened?
I lost connection, so I didn't hear nothing you said.
I said, do you have like, if you guys have a favorite YouTuber, like who's your favorite YouTuber? I'm just curious. This is just if you have one. If
I mean, I watch a lot of. I got a couple, I guess, but I don't. You know, I ain't gonna be weird about it, cause you know, I ain't dick riding nobody. But I watch Murphy when she draws stuff. I watch you, of course. I watch who else do I watch? Oh, I watch my Pokemon Nuzlocke YouTuber. That's about it. That's consistently. That's what I watch. Everybody else is like, that's until I look.
okay. Kurji, I don't know who that is, Banana Bully. The Exploding Series, who does SCP videos and Unite. SCP, that sounds familiar. Those monster thingies, I don't know. That's interesting. I'm just curious, cause I like, what era of YouTube do I technically come from? I'm trying to think of like who was big. Timothy the like ghetto. Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, so you like 08, 09.
Yeah, like Hot Damn My Rock, Kane Carter. You know, like that's like kind of my era of YouTube, I think.
Yeah. I was part of that era too. I've been on YouTube so fucking.
Yeah. My favorite YouTuber is Vanos Gaming. A lot of other YouTubers either decrease quality or drastically changed to Fortnite. He does a lot of cool science stuff now. Mostly VTubers. Okay, all right, fair enough. I only ask this because like most of my favorite YouTubers were always people who didn't post very often. They kind of do whatever they want, or they take a long time and drop like a, what do they call it, a chungy wungy big video, like an hour long, of like a retrospective on like The Legend of Zelda. You know, I like Mark Brown's Game Maker's Toolkit. He has a series called I think Boss Keys, where he looks at like level design for like for dungeons. I liked him a lot. I'm trying to think of some other people. That's crazy, but King K. There we go. King K is a video game YouTuber.
Yeah.
He's good. Who else? Am I forgetting? Anyways, but most of the guys I like didn't put out content like daily and stuff like that. And believe it or not, I never watched that much YouTube. I didn't. I watch the most amount nowadays because I don't watch TV at all anymore and stuff. But even in college, when I transitioned out of TV by then, I was putting the straw hat on and watching some anime and playing video games a lot. I really was not a YouTube guy ever, really. I've become more of that over. I actually would say really since 2020. But since I started it, for sure, there's been a big increase in uptick in me watching videos. But a channel that I like a lot recently is actually kind of getting dunked on right now, or maybe at least like people are criticizing it, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a perfect channel. Nothing is. It's called Think Before You Sleep. For what I know, this guy's a MGTOW, right-leaning YouTuber. But what and his presentation style is very weird. It's kind of interesting. I never seen it before, where he has those like stills of like just like scenery, and then he like talks with his little like nasally voice. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't know. His voice kind of weird to me at least. But you know, what I've always appreciated about it is somebody who understands like I guess research. Bad faith arguments and intellectual dishonesty. I've always felt that he's given people a lot of credit. Even if he's vehemently disagreeing with like every action, he will find something they've done in some video to be like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing this person has done. And I really like that. And I would argue that the YouTubers that kind of came after him embody the complete opposite: bad faith, intellectual dishonesty. Except actually, weirdly, isn't Ludwig a Smash Brothers player? Did not know he made content like this. That shit threw me for a loop. What's up? What's up, Bonzu? Sorry. Fave, JD, King of Lightning, fair. A lot of YouTubers from 0811, but they're all dead channels or fell off. Fair enough. Mallory Brill, Sean C, Niam, Brago, at least consistently. I appreciate that for anyone who said me. I feel like some of you are being nice. You don't have to say me if it's not me. It's cool. I used to watch a lot of Hot Diamond. Yeah, I was a King Carter guy. I liked him. Brotherly Love, like you a player too, last nigga. That Mario video is still one of the greatest. Cinema. This to me, that is cinema. But even that the N-word one, like that one, that's one of the greatest videos I ever seen.
Yeah.
To me, that is cinema.
A rare capture, in the moment. They pull this off.
Seth, the guy who gets into we're talking about Seth the programmer. I used to watch him a little bit. I try. Yeah, shoe.
Oh, he's made some pretty decent stuff.
No, he has good videos. I'm not gonna lie to him. He knows what he's talking about. It's just I don't care for that level of power scaling to that degree all the time. So you, Brago, King Recon. I like Recon. Recon is always good vibes. I followed you a long time, and you have different reasons for being favorites for manga. I appreciate that. But yeah. And part of the reason that like I want to watch this video with you guys, you just tell me what you think, what you feel. If it's not moving you, it's fine. I don't mind. But I think this girl's journey through like just kind of her political mindset and changing and kind of being a part of indoctrination and this and that and blah 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 is interesting to see. 'Cause I think a lot of people go through this to some degree.
Yeah, I did.
Would you? Yeah, okay. I would argue I did. A lot of people I know did, and most people I know are pretty normal, pretty moderate, pretty centrist. So let's get into this without any further ado.
I can't really say I've been hardcore either side, to be honest.
No, I think with me, it wasn't necessarily that I was like, I think with me, the problem was I was afraid to speak against it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I knew what it was. Like, oh, women are being empowered. Let me just not say nothing. You know, people are talking about this trans stuff. Let me not say nothing. You know, men suck. Absolutely, I agree. like I just want no smoke. I just want to be left the fuck alone. You know, I was a
No,
coward.
I think I've been
I
more.
was a coward.
I think I've been more fake political than anything when I was younger.
That's
You know how you
probably
kind of feel
the
like
right
you're.
answer. Like, oh, what do you think about this? Like, I just believe that women, like, you know, like I said the talking points, honestly, but that wasn't because I believed
Yeah.
it. I wanted to be left alone, and I didn't feel like being mobbed. But the first,
Or
I think,
you just,
yeah,
you're just reiterating stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't really thinking about stuff that was going on, but
same. Candace
But
Owens.
yeah,
I like Candace. Nia, did you know according to Twitter, Anne Frank had white privilege? Who's Anne Frank? That sounds familiar. Who's that again? Is that an actor?
girl, the Jewish girl with the Jewish girl with the diary in Germany.
Yo, I'm a fraud. That's crazy. I mean, whatever. I guess. Sure. Was that something that was happening on Twitter?
I
That
don't
was like a
think-
big talking point.
I don't think I haven't been on it for like 2 days really, and I didn't know people. What? I don't get it. Whatever. I don't care. It's really not important. I don't know why we're bringing up dead people who got destroyed by Nazis. Like, what are we doing?
I also don't understand why we sometimes try to apply 2020 thinking to like things that happened way a long time ago. I don't.
I've always felt like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. You're kind of a product of your time period and environment and stuff too, right? You know, not saying it's right
That
not to
doesn't mean-
change. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Right. That doesn't mean it's not right. But my thing is, yeah, like people do that all the time when you're watching movies and things based off of things that took place or books that took place in like the 1700s. Like, come on, man. You really think they were thinking what we were thinking? This is why we evolved. It's called we evolved. We think all this stuff now. We had to go through that transition between all this and that. Like I said, I'm not defending it though. I'm not saying that it's right, but I have to do this when I be reading, like when people be reading manga and stuff like that. I'm like, you know, if it's not your cup of tea, or if you don't read it because you don't like this particular thing, fine. But sometimes, like, people just they don't take. That's why I say context matters and stuff. They don't take into account when it was written. I don't think the same. This is written now. It's like, yeah, they'd be out of here, but it wasn't written like 30 years ago. Keep a grip, man.
yeah, the one thing that I've seen that's being talked about a lot, I've never actually read it. I just kind of know certain. Is it a book or a movie or both? Actually, I'm thinking about it. But the Handmaid's Tale or Handmaiden's Tale, whatever, that's being referenced a lot recently. I think since certain things happened. But I haven't actually gone through that literature myself from start to finish. I kind of just know some of the main talking points about it. But apparently, that's like a thing people talking about a lot. So maybe, yeah. I think it's weird to apply modern morality to stuff like so do I, Omar. Yeah, it doesn't make sense because the tech, especially when I think about how much technology has advanced in a very very quickly. Because years ago, I didn't know what was happening in Brazil unless I went to Brazil. I could know what's happening in Brazil like that. Like, we're more globally connected because of technology and things of that nature, and I don't think people think about that all the time. And the social contagion of like a lot of things permeating into every society because we all have access to. Well, a lot of us have access to the same. Let's say all of us, obviously, some people don't, but to the same things. Where you see the same types of rights and thought processes that are prevalent here in third and second world countries, because they also have. They're seeing like, well, they're fighting for their freedom, we do too, blah blah blah. So. It's kind of also part of the reason why I don't like sometimes when people complain about certain things over here, and I'm like, you know how blessed we are. Like, you want to like I'm not saying you're not going through something. Everyone has a human experience, but it's like I understand that from some of my friends in third world places and stuff, where they're like, you guys are over there complaining about this and that, and it's like, bro, some of us are worrying about what they eat, are not stepping on the mine, and I'm like, that's why I try to keep perspective all the time. But okay. Let's watch this journey. You ready, Vince? I'm gonna put it in the thing for you. I lost Vince. Did I lose him?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay.
So I don't know if I can be heard, but I'm here.
Come back. Screen. No, I didn't want my Discord. I hate you. I hate you so much.
Like, respect.
Doesn't have any respect for authority.
Hi everyone.
Don't hi everyone me yet. I'm not ready. Okay. Go to Mr. Vince over here. How do I do this again? Oh, screen. Make sure. Let me know you can see it. You can see it. Brother Vince.
Hold on. No. It says it failed to start. I've never seen that before. Oh, wait. Oh, no. I can't see it yet.
Try again.
Hold on. Let me leave and come back. All right. Hello?
Yo.
Okay. I hopped up because, yeah.
Can you see it now? Is that better?
Yeah.
All right, let's get it. So this video is called "I Had a Ben Shapiro Jordan Peterson Phase," and I'm glad that I did. And she's gonna talk about her, like, I guess, journey in life and shit.
So first of all, I know that me wearing this hat will make whatever I say sound like 10 times less serious, but I really like this hat, so I'm just gonna wear it. Second of all, I wanted today to be unscripted. I know that all of my videos are usually scripted, but I wanted this video to be more like a conversation or a story time, if you could call it that, where I just talk about how I used to be a Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, and really a fan of all those people in that similar circle. Dave Rubin, Sam Harris, Candace Owens. I used to be a fan of all those people, so I want to talk about my journey to—
Have you ever watched any of those other people, by the way? I've never seen much of Dave Rubin. I don't know if I've seen stuff now just because I know Jordan. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna lie, I don't watch a lot of political video unless they're sent to me, because I don't go searching for them. Not that I wouldn't watch them though.
No, I only say it because you know the talking point that I always say. Sorry, let me just make sure I'm not lagging like crazy. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
make sure. The talking point I always say, where someone will be like, "Yo, Naya," or whatever. Like, oh, like I've said, like sometimes, like, oh, like, I'm like, you like Jordan B. Peterson? What are you, one of those lost boy incel, blah blah yada yada? And I always find like statements like that very interesting to me, personally speaking, because I'm like, what are you really saying? You're not saying anything to me, because watch this. Because without fail, when I ask this question, everyone answers me the same. I can be like, take the people or the person you love, admire, and respect the most. Do you agree with every decision that they make and everything that they say? No, you fucking don't. Why would that be any different for Jordan B. Peterson?
Because people fail to realize that a lot of people can have the ability to have nuance and make their own thing. Because the problem is a lot of little kids are online, or a lot of people who just like they get really enamored with a certain figure, so they just regurgitate all their talking points. I probably was like that when I was a little kid, but
I wasn't.
At some point,
I know it's a little different. Like but part of the lessons that have been imparted to me at a very young age was to be a leader and not a follower. So
yeah,
I tended to never follow a crowd and do my own thing, or people follow what I did. That was kind of more of the thing that I formed with me. But yeah, it's just like the reason that I'll tell people that I'm a fan of like a Jordan B. Peterson or Ben Shapiro or Candace Owens. Not that they say a lot of things I disagree with. Every single video I watched them in. But I spent a long time thinking they were just evil, bad people just because of what I was told through the grapevine. And I never checked myself. And I'm usually not like that, which is why I'm kind of ashamed. The first time I saw Candace Owens was actually on The Roommates, because I like Hafiz from The Roommates. I like his show. And I was like, what's wrong with her? I didn't get it. So then I went and looked at her own stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, she says things here I don't like, and I think some of the things she says probably black people feel the type of way because it's not what they want to hear, but I don't have an issue with her. Kind of reminds me of KS, rest in peace, but I'm like, he does a lot of stuff that I'm sure goes too far, but I just know people like this. Some people from that generation are very blunt and curt. Have you ever seen a Jamaican, bro?
Yep.
Bro, come to a Jamaican's house and be 10 pounds bigger than you were the last time, you get blood clot foul up to you, like quick. No filter, no hi, no hey Vince,
Yeah,
how's
so
it been?
some
You're
cultures
fat.
Some cultures don't have that sensitivity when it comes to tone. They just tell you how it is.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I never really got that because a lot of things people say to me, and I'm like, why does your mind even think like this? Like as you said, it's like Peterson's just a normal human being you disagree with. LOL. Like I don't know, but something's going on here. But let's keep going.
To there, how I left and changed, and my reflections on all of that. I've actually learned a lot of life lessons from this because, you know, when you look at me.
Mm-hmm.
Want you to know that I can't see the video. You're showing me Discord. just want you to know that.
What?
Because at first I was like, oh, I'm waiting. I was like, oh,
is that better?
Just stay there. Yeah, okay, we're good.
You said your Jamaican accent's on point. My pot was actually not that good. I have a couple of phrases that I sound like, yo, I'm really from Yard, but I'm really North American. Like, I'm Canadian as fuck. Oh, yeah, bud.
I don't look like your typical Ben Shapiro or
And my mom is Trinidadian, by the way.
Jordan Peterson fan, that's for sure. But that's something really important that I've learned. I've actually learned a lot of really important and eye-opening things from this stage in my life, which I will definitely talk about at the end. Sorry, I just realized that I assumed everyone would know who Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson are. But for those who don't know, Ben Shapiro is a political...
She's better than me. I'm telling you to Google that shit. I hate doing this, but I have to do it more often. I almost assume that whoever's watching it just knows a bunch of stuff as I do. I gotta stop doing that. It's actually a bad thing that I do. Like, oh yeah, so you know how like Phantom knows an axis? And like no, what's that? Like someone might not know what that is. I never explained that. I gotta do better with that. So Naya, this beauty started, I'm already moved. That hat is fire. Okay. And my mom's treating that too. Hey, let's go. Well, I'm to you bye.
Commentator known for representing right-wing politics, he gained traction for speaking very publicly and openly about some controversial stances.
Say that you respect the Second Amendment, and you know I brought this here for you so that you can read it. It's the Constitution. And I would really like for you to explain to me what you would do.
I actually have added context for this scene. I know this they disagreed on I don't remember what it was. It might have been gun laws in this video, but then he came on their show and they agreed on free speech. Where it's like, you know, when you're just like when you can have civil discourse with somebody, you can find common ground even though you disagree on certain talking points. I actually like
I'm not gonna lie though, out of context, that looks insane. He just like, hey, I brought you
the Constitution. He said, "Here, yo." That's like he'd be like, "All right, here's the 10 Commandments. I bring you the tablet."
like, yo, what?
Dude, it's funny as hell. I don't even come close to her accent though. I can't do it either, Omar. I'm terrible. I remember her in school was being told to explain like the reader knows nothing when I'm writing about in school. You're right, but I don't know. I guess I YouTube for the experts. I'm gonna start doing it more often. I have a note that tells me to explain things
about guns that would have prevented what happened in Sandy Hook. If you want to do what
he's known for talking really fast and having quote unquote good argumentation, which is why you'll find a lot of different videos like Ben Shapiro destroys.
Thank you for the follow.
Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist and a professor at the University of Toronto. He rose to fame after talking about free speech and using pronouns when referring to transgender people.
Think that
they tried to force that bill on us, I remember.
An imposition on freedom of speech that's being implemented at a legislative level.
He's also known for talking a lot about the patriarchy and identity politics, and a lot of his psychology lectures on YouTube have quite a bit of views. Also, a disclaimer. If there are any Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro fans watching this video, the point of this video is not to encourage my viewers to go support these people. I'm not saying that anyone who supports them is awful people. In fact, I'm here to share my story about how I used to support them to change a lot of people's perspectives, but I'm not trying to push people to support one person or the other. That's not my goal.
How it began.
I guess I'll just start from the very beginning, give you some background on what type of person I am. Even when I was little,
lot of
like a
rings.
kid, I tended to be quite compassionate.
Oh.
Is
I
that
always
comfortable?
felt bad for the underdogs, whoever was getting the short end of the stick. So that meant that I was pretty compassionate and sympathetic towards people who were poor, people who weren't treated properly. My heart was always there towards whoever was suffering, you know? I always liked to side with the victim intuitively. That was the kind of person that I was. And school always coincided with what I thought.
Lawson, like, he really loves that hat. I actually do. My sister actually crocheted me a Superman like knit hat. Maybe I'll wear it one day. Maybe Lost will like the hat. I'll do it. I'll do it when I play. I almost said Genshin Impact. Honkai Impact.
If you live in Ontario, Canada, which is where I live, and I'm pretty sure it's similar
Shout out to the Maple Leaf. You know what I'm saying?
other places in America and Canada as well, the curriculum is very left-leaning, you know, it's very liberal. So the way that I intuitively felt was echoed by what I was taught in school. We read a lot of articles about how we should help the poor, how we should care about climate change. My teachers always taught us about racism, about homophobia, all of these types of issues that the left is very concerned with.
Was that true for you?
No, that's what I was gonna bring up. It's always weird because
You can always tell me to pause whenever, by
stuff
the
and
way. Sorry, just you could just
Okay,
say, yeah.
when people talk about this stuff now, it's always so strange for me because I feel like I was in a completely different time. I don't remember a single teacher talking about anything political until I got to my junior year of high school, and even then it was a government class. It wasn't like any other teacher doing that either. Like it wasn't like all teachers usually went by the standpoint of, you know, they have their right to not tell you what they think and, you know, put their political views out there. Now we live in an era where people, and I don't even think it's wrong, but people feel more, you know, obligated to state how they feel on things. When I was growing up, nobody even wanted to do that. It was like taboo. It's like how they ask you with white people too. They don't want to tell you who they voted for and stuff like that. So I don't know. That was interesting for me to know that y'all went through all that. But then again, also I live in Texas, so that's a completely different world.
Is your state is more what, Republican or no?
Yeah, it's super conservative.
So did you learn? Would you argue that you learned more conservative stuff, or were you just like?
No, I feel like conservative.
It was balanced.
Honestly, yeah. Well, I feel like in conservative, a lot of nature to the thing is they don't really try to go in depth unless you kind of
Thank you,
like
Biden is
ask
corrupt
them.
for following. Sorry
Unless
about
you
that.
ask them to. I feel like a lot of the time they just kind of give you like, here's this and here's this, and then they just keep it pushing. Liberals are more often go on a tangent or go, you know, start talking about this and that. Because if I had a conservative teacher or something like that, it's like I said, you can kind of tell. Because I always feel like, I don't know if you've ever felt like this, it might be different for you. I always felt like if I asked somebody who they voted for, and they said, oh, you know, I'm not saying, or that, I was like, okay, that's a conservative. And if they tell you, that's usually a liberal or a Democrat. I don't know why.
That's
It's the way it
interesting.
was.
That's interesting, but like I definitely remember like any class that didn't particularly have any politics. A lot of teachers tried their best to be pretty apolitical. They weren't. My curriculum was more left leaning. I just don't think it was as crazy progressive and as far left as it is today currently. When I remember that other video I watched, I don't know if I'm gonna watch that too. The other girl that remember a thing completely rejected it because she was speaking about the school she went to and realizing that like it's like a cult. And I even remember Youngmi Park saying this when she went to the University of Columbia or something like that. And she's that girl that detainee from North Korea with the really tragic story who escaped to America or whatever it was.
Oh.
And she was saying that her freedom of speech actually kind of felt stymied in that college, almost as bad as it was. Like she might have been conflating it a little bit. I don't know, but she was saying she felt just as like I can't speak my mind here.
Yeah, it might have been a bit hyperbole, but you know.
So yeah. That's I was asking because for me though, I would argue it was right like that. It wasn't that crazy. And I definitely had teachers who were obviously with much more like conservative. So, yeah. I'm with Vince. I only studied junior and senior year in America. I graduated 4 years ago, and they were talking about They were not talking politics. Okay, good. What's up, Glam? Hope you landed safely. Hope you're having fun. I like Jordan more than Ben because I've actually seen Jordan try to understand something he doesn't agree with. Understand the case in point. Brown seems to have his mindset on Islam being no good. Oh, that's fair. I mean, I think each of them. She's gonna criticize them all. I think each of them have their own different criticisms. I don't think anybody is perfect. Again, I am more of a fan of Jordan Peterson because of psychology, not because of his world views and politics. It's because this is somebody who studied psychology and taught it for years, and even some of his words have helped me become more successful in my life. As late as I started watching him about 2020, so that's 2 years ago. Damn, I'm old. 27. So yeah. You live till tomorrow. Oh, okay. Which is weird, given how Ben is apparently very religious. I mean, yeah, that's why I always think calling Ben alt-right, far-right, MAGA, whatever is very weird, or like certain words they use for him, because I'm like, he's Jewish.
And they were often taught from a very liberal perspective as well. And growing up in a family where my parents, they're both immigrants from China, and China is quite conservative in terms of social and political issues, especially back when my parents were growing up.
Kind of funny having after seeing, sorry, it's part of my gimmick to never say the name right. All the things everywhere all at the same time simultaneously. that yeah, it's true.
So they are quite conservative, or at least they used to be when I was younger. So that further added to the feeling like I needed to be more liberal in order to counter all of the things that I felt they were saying wrong. And their thinking on a lot of social and political issues completely conflicted with what I was taught in school. So I always felt like I was morally superior. I felt like my parents were wrong and I knew better, that they were mean, that they were cold-hearted, and I was the one who was compassionate. Now, I got to a point where some people might have called me a social justice warrior, an SJW. I don't like to use that name, by the way. I think that any type of names that you give people is just a way to insult them and subconsciously make people think of them in a negative way. It's really an ad hominem attack, which is definitely not a valid form of argumentation. But I'll just say SJW because I know a lot of people know that term, and I think that according to the definition, that's basically what I was. I was very sensitive to anyone who didn't think the way that I did.
Were you ever very sensitive to any particular talking point or to something like that growing up? Vince? Did I lose him? I lost Vince? Did you mute? Vince! I lost him. Never mind. We'll keep going.
I was very left-leaning on all issues. You know, I thought, eat the rich. Everything should be equal. I remember one time when my family was...
Bonjour, mon cœur. Oh, did you walk away? My bad. I was just...
No, my girlfriend was calling me on the phone.
Oh.
I was like, I'm in a stream. I'll call you back.
Mm. Vince left to go be big in Tokyo. I wonder if playing this song was a mistake. They have so many jokes. They're like, Nye wants to be small in China and all kind of stuff. But anyways, I was saying, were there growing up or even today, were there any topics that you were particularly very sensitive about that it will kind of immediately put you on like that like flight or fight type of mode? I guess I don't know what word I want to use, but like you know what I mean though. No.
Honestly, I really think that like I was the type of kid that I was probably closer to what's the proper term? No, like I was just kind of like I said, it's not that I didn't care about politics, but also I was also feel like I was a lot closer to.
No, I just meant in general, like race. Like if someone called you the N-word or something, like did you ever?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of one of those people that like I'm not gonna go as far as to be like, oh, I didn't see color, because that's insane, I think. But like I was very kind of like liberal and nonchalant about a lot of that type of stuff, because I always looked at things, especially when I was younger. I was just like, well, people grew up in this environment, so would I be surprised if they did this or did that? And stuff like that, like no, not
so you're kind of like me. You're always pretty introspective. Okay, that makes sense. Or you just thought about stuff like a lot deeper. Like you try to before you kind of react, you think about multiple variables at the very least. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't mean I was always correct, but I was always thinking about Yeah, the next.
And I
phase, all
I don't
that
and I
stuff.
always have my blind spots. I've always said that. Bro, I was just trying to get through school. I don't give a fuck about all this shit, to be honest. I feel that. like I more often than not, I'm trying to get through the day. Like I don't have all these thoughts in my brain about saving the world and changing the world. I was chasing skirts, playing sports, and that was about it. You know,
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The world's so different now. Cause I
Yeah.
don't feel like that was things that, not that they didn't think about it all, because people did think about that type of stuff, but it's just so different. Like the level is being introduced and how hardcore it is now. Kids was not doing this. Like I thought about that type of stuff, but I wasn't talking about it at school either.
mhm,
I had to have people who were really just even into that in the first place. It's not that many people.
I feel it.
So yeah.
eating dinner, and my dad brought up how one of his colleagues had a daughter who was going into university or some sort of post-secondary education, and he said that his colleague's daughter was going into computer science or computer engineering, some sort of STEM subject like that. And my mom and my dad were just talking about how they didn't think it suited her, or it wasn't a typical job that women or girls would do. And I remember I got very offended, and I started arguing it with them. Like, why would you say that? Why would you say that computer engineering or computer science is not something that girls or women should do? And my parents kept saying, no, like, girls and women can be computer engineers. They can do computer science. We're just saying it's not something that girls do as much as guys do, which is true. If you look at any STEM program, it tends to be more male than female. But I just kept thinking like, oh my gosh, they're being sexist. They're saying that women can't do these types of subjects or that they shouldn't. I'm thinking
I've
back
never
to
had
when
that
my
phase.
boyfriend used to ask me controversial questions sometimes.
With my parents,
Hmm?
either, even though I didn't think they were always right. I just wouldn't argue about stuff like
we-
that. I don't know.
we-
Maybe it'd be different if I was
we-
a different gender.
We also, we didn't. I didn't have that type of right. I'll get my ass beat. Do you pay bills in this house? You better think what you better think what I'm thinking.
I could probably disagree, but I could be like yelling.
Yeah, I can't be like you got. Yeah, I couldn't like name call them like that. Like, oh yeah, I am and always have been pretty disagreeable. It's just funny because I'm like certain things. Like I'm not bringing this up to my mom. I'll get my ass fucking beat. She taking that belt off and tough time with
I'll
it.
cry. Yeah.
By the way, I find it weird that your Discord has the word "R" banned. Don't you think the problem is the people who make fun of it and not the word in itself? Because I can understand Discord was an issue a while back. It made sense for the time period because of who I had in my Discord, and there's a lot of very sensitive people and stuff. I still think it's probably best to not use it because I just know how like it's very weird, Ashu, but a lot of this stuff is very interconnected. So I could be punished from certain platforms for something that happened on Twitter, something that happened on Discord, for my comment section, and honestly, it's just safer that way. We could talk about it though. I don't mind kind of remixing it. I mean, don't go crazy and start dropping all the stuff like that, but a lot of these things will punish the content creator for the things that their community does. So I'm just trying to be as careful as I can be because I gotta follow the rules to some degree. I guess it's annoying. I get it, but the word isn't inherently a bad or wrong word. It's just a word, but yeah.
One time we were watching a Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode where Terry Crews got stopped by the police, and they had this whole conversation about racial profiling. And I remember my boyfriend stopped the episode and he asked me, let's say hypothetically in a world where racial profiling was
This part's funny because I know when he asked her this, he was trying to like walk on eggshells and tread so carefully. You ever try to explain something you know your girlfriend's not gonna like? It's like you get like. So let's just say, hypothetically, you gotta put the nice voice.
Cry. Yeah.
I see Naya trying to be cautious in Tokyo. Shit.
proven
Listen,
that
man,
it is
I need a line.
100% accurate. Would it be okay to do it then? I immediately felt very uncomfortable, like something was morally atrocious, you know? I was thinking, how could anyone ever say, yes, that is 100% racist, there's no way to justify that? But even though I would feel uncomfortable having these kinds of discussions with my boyfriend, he's really the first person who challenged me to think differently, or to at least start to question all of these really strongly held beliefs that I had in my head. The next step of me coming out of this SJW stage of my life is when I took a philosophy course in grade 12 of my high school years. That course was great. I mean, I loved my teacher. I love philosophy. It's what I study in university, and it just really, really challenged me. It's all about thinking, you know? But the biggest turning point of it all was when Black Lives Matter started. And I stumbled upon this video by Dave Rubin. So his channel is called The Rubin Report, and he basically interviews different speakers, political commentators, professors, all these types of people who talk about social or political issues. And he had this video called Black Lives Matter, Racism, Larry Elder. It was something about this guy called Larry Elder, and it was a black man who was—
I'm laughing what Ashu saying Eminem's glad he wasn't born in the 2000s. Or think this was so crazy. Yo, Tyler created a state with murder, bro, because he ended up actually being like, you know, he escaped, he got away with murder, because that boy was just as crazy.
Oh yeah,
and they love him. Yeah. They love him.
Was a conservative, and being someone who has always—
really big fan.
I actually used to. I won't lie to you, because I was very like anti-corporation, anti-establishment, anti-school. I was all like, kill people, burn shit, fuck school. Yeah. I'm still kind of like, wait, like I never changed. I never became like I don't work for corporations, but I won't lie to you. I used to really like him in an Earl sweatshirt. So
yeah, that's a fact.
Really interesting how people came heavy at M when he was saying a lot of the that's what I'm saying. Tyler got away with that. That's why I laugh sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe he can't keep getting— I'm kidding. I don't want him to get in trouble or lambasted for that. It's just funny.
Been on the left side of things. I was like, a black man as a conservative? The word conservative had been associated in my mind with racist, sexist, homophobic, all these horrible things. That's what conservative equaled to me and to a lot of people that I talked to. So I was intrigued that this black man was a conservative, and so I clicked on the video to watch what he had to say about the whole Black Lives Matter protests going on. And when I watched that video, he said things that I had never heard of before. Never. He talked about how majority of black people are killed by other black people.
In Chicago, which is a third black, a third white, and a third Hispanic, 70% of the homicides are black on black. About 40 per month, almost 500.
You're with me on the concept that black on black violence doesn't actually exist, though, because most races are— because you're probably going to be surrounded by your own type. You're probably going to get murdered by your own, because most crime, you know, like I'm saying, you get what I'm saying?
Black on black crime is a statement that only exists as a counterpoint to talk about white people killing black people.
Yeah.
And both of these things are, if you look at the numbers, both of these things are not as high as people be stated. And then the other one is fucking, they're stating a thing that's preceded proximity. Because why is black on black crime the only thing that is stated as a race thing? Nobody ever says white on white crime,
Latino crime, Chinese on Chinese crime.
Does any of that.
If I'm from China and I kill somebody, they're probably gonna be what?
Yeah.
If I'm in Japan and I murder somebody, shoot, I guess sorry, that's probably too soon to talk about that. You know, rip Abe, but Abe, sorry, but you'd be Japanese. Like, so I never liked this. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just never liked that it was the way that this point was weaponized.
It's cherry picked.
Yeah.
I think it's wrong because you could do that for anything.
Yeah.
I could be like, well, did you know that 50% of Africans don't like other like what the fuck does that mean? Like what are we talking about? Like who cares? So no, I think it's a silly point. It's always been a silly.
Yeah, again, not saying it's statistically wrong or anything. I just don't like the way that it's kind of used.
Also, you have to make sure who your numbers matter, because who you're getting the numbers from and all that matters. That's why when people say stuff like this, you automatically have to make them cite their sources and give them what you're talking about. Because you gotta think about it like this, from this perspective too. Because let me just say I'm playing devil's advocate. Who you get that from? Who you get that number from? The FBI told you that? Why would I trust the FBI to tell me about black on black crime? If I believe something, let's say I believe in, like, you know, people say like the CIA and stuff planted cocaine in the black community. So I also don't think they would fudge numbers and say that black on black crime is 70%. You know, see what I'm saying? Like, it could go real deep. Like, this shit could get crazy.
Yeah. If you actually go to the suburbs, most black people who live there are arguably more peaceful than their white counterpart. Feel like I indirectly created the monster with that one joke. It's okay, Zodiac. Don't worry about it. The Tokyo jokes are funny. That's why I probably would have changed that song already by now. But a lot of you guys are liking the song and stuff. But no, I'm with you on that. I 100% agree. And definitely also, like, again, me and you'd like to, like, again, we're not perfect. We can't think of every variable and where they all are going to intersect. But also think about the fact that these are low-income neighborhoods, and low-income neighborhoods tend to have more crime.
And you know, it's so crazy to me how many, like, movies and TV shows we watch with this playing out that tells you that murder and crime has a correlation to poor neighborhoods and stuff like that. And, like, we still don't think about it when we do stuff like this. Like, yeah, these people do things because they're trying to get out of their situation, and it turns into any means necessary. Not saying, like I said, not saying that any of that is okay either.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying the numbers are wrong, but what I am trying to work on to teach people is how numbers and statistics can be weaponized maliciously. If you do, I think she kind of talks about the point a little bit, but like it's easy for me to say something like, actually, LeBron is second all time in scoring, and I can be like, well, he has more total points than Michael Jordan. That's true, and try to argue as a result of that he's a better scorer. But if you look at scoring average, he's the highest. He's even higher than Wilt Chamberlain by like 0.1%. So it's not true. But see, if someone wasn't prepared for that, I can make them look incompetent by saying that if they don't know any better. I just use those numbers maliciously. So just be cognizant of that. That's all I'm saying. I do like stats. I love statistics. I love historical precedents, but just understand that some people can use it in an intellectually dishonest way and in bad faith.
100 per year last year in Chicago, and 75% of them are unsolved. Where is the Black Lives Matter on that?
I had always thought that it was just white people being racist and killing black people. He talked about how the number of police shootings against black people has actually rapidly decreased.
Wait, sorry, what? No, honestly, one of my favorite content with them, the song is fire. You played every stream. I keep making a joke, so you're changing it up. No, it's not. No, it's not. That one's not Vince. Vince is the other song. That one's actually a guy named Tokyo. Wait, what? Wait, shit. See, the name is 3 Moon now. Toronto Frost. I'm saying Tokyo Frost. Look at you guys got me say Tokyo. But,
I'm crying though when she said this statement, because that's like tells you like she was really sheltered or really naive. But it's just that. But you know, like I said, we don't agree with everything said, but my whole thing is, though, I can hear stuff like that and then not, like, make me dismiss anything she's saying or stuff like that, because it's her experience, and it's just like we grew up differently.
Yeah.
So I don't think
and we have a better late than never mentality, right?
Right, yeah. Because sometimes people who, when you try to make them talk about this type of stuff like that, like you try to get some people to watch a video and stuff like that, they can't watch it because their stubbornness and they already set on this very kind of extreme mindset, and they see somebody who's kind of naive or innocent, they automatically will like kind of want to like rebuke them, or nothing they say matters anymore. And my thing is, I don't work like that. It's like I hear that and like I laugh. It's just like, oh yeah, she don't know no fucking better. Like, that's silly to think that like every white person is racist against black people. Like, we gotta have some nuance, and all white people killing black people. Like, that's silly. But like at the same time though, people do use that statement to justify things, like I stated earlier. So it's always a nuanced thing. You just have to be cognizant of both.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think me and you also. Maybe it's a circumstances of how we grew up, so we can't fall into a thought process like that because it's dumb and it's dangerous. It doesn't help us.
Yeah,
so.
I think our parents do a pretty good job too. Like, I can't state for nobody else's parents, but I think we both grew up.
I have one problem what they did to me when I was young, but from that aspect, I do think they instilled a irrational fear into me that every single person who didn't share my skin color for the most part was out to get me in some way, shape, or form for a while until I broke free of that thinking. No, I did. I was pretty like not Afrocentric, but I was definitely like blacks first. I won't say I don't care about them, but I'm not like that anymore really. Like I was probably, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but like I definitely would like, I don't know. I was just a little more defensive, I guess, naturally. Like, oh, you're a tall guy. You play basketball. Why do you think I play basketball? Like, you know?
Nah. I guess my thing is, my mom always made me like. She didn't really like try to beat me over the head with just like you need to be concerned by everybody. Because the thing is, it would kind of be a contradiction if she did that a little bit. Because my family was always in places where we were the only black people. It's just more of like, they were trying to make me like be aware that like. You know, especially me since I'm light skinned too. It's kind of like sometimes they will treat you slightly better or a little different than they would treat somebody that's your dark skinned counterpart. But you should still be wary of that because that's not okay as fuck. Like y'all both black, like that's weird and shit like that. You know, shit like that.
No, I feel it.
Over the years, whereas it has flatlined for white people. And while Larry Elder was spitting out all these facts, all these statistics, all this evidence, Dave Rubin, who is the guy who was interviewing him, just looked like a complete fool. He couldn't think of any concrete evidence, you know, he'd just say general things like, oh yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that cops are racist, or yeah, generally cops will shoot black people more. And then Larry Elder would prod him, you know, like, well, tell me when. Tell me what's the statistic. Tell me the fact right now. And Dave Rubin would just go,
Who now you've laid out your case there.
But you haven't laid.
Yo, he looks so different. Did he like switch? I wonder if he switched. Or was he one of those people who just got ostracized because of like I don't know if you've seen this. Or I don't even know if I'll hold this belief, but anybody who's not with the establishment mentality and talking points, it's just all right. I wonder if he was one of those people who were maybe he wasn't even really conservative. I don't know. I don't know much about Dave Rubin and Matt Walsh, honestly. Those two from the Daily Wire.
Yeah, I
don't
never
know.
even heard. It's funny. I heard of Larry Rubin, but I've never heard of the Dave Rubin person.
No, Larry Elder, I know. I knew about him for years, but Dave Rubin is someone I like recently seen him for the first time. I think really when Jordan Peterson joined the Daily Wire.
Gotcha.
I did know who, I think his name is Dennis Prager. Someone, if I get it wrong for PragerU, someone could correct me. I knew of the channel and stuff. I didn't know about the man running behind it, and I saw him on Timcast, I believe. Big dude. I think he's Jewish and stuff. I like him. Intelligent guy.
Laid out yours. I asked you to name the most important example of racism, and you gave white cops going after black people. And I told you, gave you the facts for that. So that's nonsense. So you must have something else. What else is it? If you think racism remains a problem in America, give it to me.
Well, I think it remains a problem.
Give it to me.
It may not be systemic in that we have. It's not a certain amount of it just exists.
2015. Give me the most blatant racist example you can come up with right now.
I think you could probably find evidence that, in general, cops are more willing to shoot.
He looks bad as fuck. He looks a lot more well put together or something like that. But yeah, he looks like he's like a deer in the headlight right now.
So bad, bro. I know he wasn't prepared. But like, come on, man. Like you gotta be quick on your feet than that.
Had a good vibes. Put his ass on the spot. Rubin was the mediator between Jordan and Ben's discussion a couple of years ago. Okay, thank you. Okay, I didn't know that. I wonder when the first time Ben and Peterson had a conversation.
If the
but like I said, that's a silly argument because like, how does him rebuting that point basically mean that racism doesn't exist? They both basically are battling in extremes. Because I showed you black on black statistic, racism does not exist. That's silly.
Yeah. I mean, I actually don't have the full context. I don't know if he's just seeing it in general, but
just based off of
No, I know. But that's just it's just funny. I almost want to find out what he looks like. Actually, no, I'll do it after. Remind me, because he just, bro, Google him. He does not look like this no more. He looks on. I don't know what it is. It's killing me.
Is black.
What's your data?
Then white.
What's your basis for saying that?
So it looked like Dave Rubin, who was supposed to be the left-leaning person, the person that I've identified with all my life, could not bring up any evidence to back up his points. Whereas here,
Ashu, if you have any extended history on Dave Rubin, was he like, is he like, I don't know if he's right wing now or conservative now or one of those things because of the cult didn't want to accept him anymore because maybe he disagreed with something. Because one thing I noticed about, like, the reason that I can kind of point this stuff out is because it reminds me of the black community. Would you argue that we're completely we're not unified? There's no solidarity. We're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So when I watch like the left and the right, like the LGBT and like feminism, I see all the crowds. I'm like, just like the black community, but like I can spin it this way. So my point is that I want to know if he was someone who was actually extremely left-leaning and maybe his opinions changed over time and he stopped being that way and he's a conservative now, or if he's actually still technically a liberal like Joe Rogan and or like Tim Pool or Jordan Peterson, but because people don't like them, they call them alt-right. That's what I want to know. Joe Rogan is actually when I named is the most left-leaning person there. I did not realize how much of a lefty he was. That boy is not right. He does not like Trump. He is not left-leaning, right-leaning.
Except for about the vaccine, apparently.
Well, I guess because they thought he used horse dewormer, but
there was Larry Elder on the
people don't like.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it. I mean, you know me. My joke is he's a Fear Factor guy. That's all I know. That's all I got for you.
Other side, bringing up all this evidence for everything he believed in, and it just made me think, like, wow, have I got it wrong all my life? Have I been lied to all this time? I saw this post on Tumblr. It was something about just how all cops are bad. And I reblogged it, but I wrote a little text thing underneath saying, maybe everyone should watch this video I just watched with Larry Elder, you know? Not all cops are bad. Yes, there are really bad things that happen, but that doesn't mean every single cop is evil, right? I realized that what I was saying was highly, highly unfavorable, especially on Tumblr, which is a very liberal platform for the most part.
Yes,
but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna say it anyways. And I got lots of hate for it. People calling me bootlickers, people saying that, oh, look at this K-pop stan saying these racist things, and I was like,
that's crazy.
I mostly reblog aesthetics, but whatever, I guess. Now, I can't say I was right. I don't.
For no reason. See, I don't ever do nothing like that, so I don't know what to do with any of that.
Yeah, I feel it. What happened to the guy screaming about the government putting chemicals in the water and turning the frogs gay? For some, like Alex, that Alex guy came to mind. Oh, damn, what's his name? I don't know if you're talking about him. Like, I'll beat your ass, motherfucker. You motherfucker. Oh, yeah. Well, that guy, Alex Jones, did he say that? Because I have been seeing a lot of Alex Jones is right tip jars in a lot of like People's Studio. Because a lot of things that he was called a crazy conspiracy theorist for, I guess, was starting to come to fruition. I don't know. I've actually really never seen anything he's spoken about ever. Just the memes of him running after the guy, and the one meme where it's like me losing 50 pounds was the same picture of him, but he's just more red.
I don't believe the same things I did at that time, but I also can't say
I'll beat your ass, motherfucker.
Who responded to me on Tumblr responded well. They definitely were just attacking me with insults, but no one took the time to be kind or respectful and say, hey, you know, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, but here is what I think, here is what I think you should watch, and here's what I recommend you think about. No one talked to me like that. Everyone was just calling me names and hating on me. And that was the spark, you know? This Larry Elder, Dave Rubin video, and then that Tumblr experience. It was this feeling that, one, throughout my life, everything, media, school, government, social media, these things have all lied to me or kept certain information from me just so that I could believe certain things that they wanted me to believe. Secondly, it made me feel like what all of these people on the right were saying was true. that all the left was made up of was just people who were so indoctrinated that they wouldn't ever be open-minded or willing to change and talk civilly. That's the experience that I had, and so I started to feel like it was true. But I still wasn't completely in this, okay, I am now a conservative.
It was being her ass in the quote tweets?
I never actually even thought of myself as a conservative during this Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson phase.
Yeah, he was yelling and screaming. But was I right though? Last trial, you talk about Alex Jones. I think his name is. I don't know if that's his last name. I think his first name's Alex. You think you're a strong piece of shit? I'll beat your ass, motherfucker.
I just always thought like I am.
I'm trying to remember what he sounds like, but I'm pretty sure he sounded kind of like motherfucker.
Yeah, you know what? We gonna let it slide. You can go with that. I like that better. It's funny.
You know what?
It's not like I can do his accent either. So, but. Oh man, that was great though. I'm glad you had that in you.
Damn it! I don't know if I'm gonna find it here. It's okay. I'll look for it after that one video where he's running after the guy or whatever the fuck. K-Frogs is crazy though. What? What? The frogs? What's going on, man?
Searching for the truth. And I'll touch more on this later about how this truth-seeking narrative is a tactic that these types of right-wing political commentators often use to lure people in. But anyways, at this time, I was still thinking, okay, I really want to talk to someone about this, but after my experience on Tumblr, I don't really know who to talk to that I wouldn't get hate from. I ended up talking to my philosophy teacher, who was, as I expected, very open-minded, was a good listener, and I even asked my philosophy teacher, can you recommend me some left-leaning thinkers? Because I was aware that I didn't want to get pigeonholed in just one side of the spectrum. You know, I wanted to try to make sure I was listening to both sides. Looking back, I'm not sure if it's just the YouTube algorithm realized I watched a Dave Rubin report video and now they were like, okay, now watch all of this similar content. Or if I just started to become more interested in that side of politics. Or maybe it was a combination of both YouTube algorithms and my own interests in that other side
you were curious.
Combining. But slowly...
It's important. I think it's a turning point that happens when you truly have your belief system challenged. You get curious to see if what you believe is truly right or is like at least infallible. You might be like, I still believe it, but there's some things wrong here. Or you clutch onto your pearls like, no. Oh, my leftism or whatever. You know, that's just the example I'm using, but it could be anything. You know, so. That gay frog shit was real. I thought he was kidding. I don't know. I told you, beyond that meme, I don't know anything about Alex Jones. I promise. I don't know anything about him. I'm not the one to
be honest. All I know is I think he won a lawsuit where he basically was saying that his takes are for entertainment or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was somebody who got banned from Twitter too that I learned actually won their lawsuit and got their account reinstated because of some terms of service, something. I'll think about it after. That's completely unrelated. My bad.
Slowly, I started to listen to more of this conservative content. Naturally, Ben Shapiro was eventually recommended to me by YouTube. Just like the Larry Elder Dave Rubin report, Ben Shapiro in all of his debates or interviews with other people, he would always seem to have stats on hand. You know, he'd bring up statistics. He'd bring up what seemed like evidence from research and papers.
They're explaining to me why 13% of the population is responsible for 50% of the murder.
He'd bring up stories and perspectives that I had never been exposed to before in my life, and I just kept feeling like things had been hidden from me. And when I read the comments on all of these Ben Shapiro videos, there'd be so many people saying things that I was feeling, you know? They put the words in my mouth. There would be comments like, oh, these are things that the mainstream media won't talk about. Or people only hate on him because what he says is true. I just hated feeling as though everything that I had been consuming before was all just trying to control how I thought. If you know me, I like being an independent thinker. I like feeling as though I have control of my thoughts. I'm someone who cares about finding what truth is, or I used to be. Now I am not quite certain that truth exists, but that's a whole nother topic. I used to
Truth exists.
care a lot though, because I wanted to find what was actually true in order to make change actually happen. And I genuinely believed that this other side that the mainstream media and mainstream thinking wasn't showing is what was actually true. I think it almost comes from that instinct of when I was younger, rooting for the underdogs. But now it was directed towards the underdogs of thinking, if you could call it that. People like Ben Shapiro is not what you see in your Instagram infographics. Ben Shapiro is not what you hear on your daily news. It's not who you learn about in school. Okay, so moving on, how did I get into Jordan Peterson? Well, there was this argumentation and reasoning analysis assignment that I had to do for my philosophy class. Yes, philosophy again. And I came across the famous Jordan Peterson, Kathy Newman interview. If you haven't watched it, it's famous basically because Kathy Newman, who is...
I think the thing that I appreciate the most about philosophy is it opened up an elevated level of thinking on my part, of critical thinking ability. It took it to its next logical conclusion. I always said, with me, the things that I excelled at academically, I'm not a genius at all in any capacity, but critical thinking, deconstruction of text and analysis of literature was what I was good at, and philosophy took that to its next logical conclusion. So I've always been I actually had a really good teacher that I really liked though, so that always helps because it's very rare. I can probably count on my hand from senior kindergarten to literally at the end of post-secondary college. I have like 4 teachers I like, bro. No cap.
That makes sense, because most of them are kind of lazy. Some of them be bad. They just, it's a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Teachers are humans, but that don't mean some of them are terrible.
Absolutely.
The interviewer basically strawmans almost everything that Jordan Peterson says.
Or intelligence and conscientiousness. Agreeableness negatively predicts success in the workplace. And
so
does high negative emotion.
You're saying that women aren't intelligent enough to run these top companies?
No, I didn't say that at all.
You said that...
No, man. If you ever seen this interview, it's just nasty what she tried to do here.
No,
it just didn't work at all. She was fishing to get him to his temperament is like, I think I have a pretty good temperament. I'm pretty sure by the end of this, I'll be yelling at her. Bro,
she wasn't even waiting. She was just like, "You're saying that women can't?" I'm like, "Bro."
So can you explain the wage gap? Okay, so what it is. So what you're saying is women are stupid. Like, bro, I didn't say anything with that. I didn't even finish my thought. Like, she would have had me on that chair like Alex Jones yelling, bro.
The goddamn son of a bitch. It's crazy.
I'll beat your ass, you son of a bitch. And then after, oh my God, he was talking violence against a woman, and I'm done. She would have ended my whole career, dog. She would have had me there. She would have got me. I will lie to you. I'm not that patient. I'm not a fucking saint. Go ahead.
It's just nasty that she wasn't even waiting. Like, bro, like, could he finish his sentence?
No, you
get
can't.
The whole thing out. No, you're done. You're done now.
Oh man, great interview though.
Female traits don't predict success.
But I didn't say that intelligence wasn't. I didn't say that intelligence and conscientiousness.
Well, you were saying that intelligence and conscientiousness by implication are not female traits. No.
I mean,
that's very dangerous territory.
I'm not saying that at all.
You see, he's smiling and laughing because he's trying to, he's trying to stay calm. You ever when you're hearing is so ridiculous, all you can do is laugh to yourself like, yo, what is going on? I didn't say any of this.
No, she good at her job. Oh, that's her job. She good at it because ain't no way, son.
Yeah, first stage when you discovered CNN was trash, fair enough. Second stage when you discovered a source that convinced you that CNN was trash may not be rigorous as well. Yeah, just that's why I'm a fan of people being independent. Like, I don't care if you're I don't care about you being a part of a collective or a group or whatever. I'm just a very big fan of people being independent in the group, to the point if Vince does something I disagree with, I'll be one of the first people to call him out because I care about him so much, and I hope you do the same for me if I'm doing something stupid. I'm not holding a stranger to the same accountability I'm holding him to. I don't know the stranger. I don't really care about him like that. But Vince, yeah, I'm going to hold him to a higher, standard because he's my friend. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that's that's normal. I don't know why people aren't like that, but yeah.
And she keeps making
no, you out there. Good luck.
A bunch of assumptions by leaping from like one conclusion or one thing that he says to some whole other conclusion.
Politics. Doesn't matter who you are as an individual. It matters who you are in terms of your group identity.
You're just saying things, though, to provoke, aren't you? I mean, you are a provocateur.
I never say
You're like
anything.
the alt-right that you hate to be compared to. You want to stir things up.
And then later on, I remembered that my boyfriend had told me about the whole Jordan Peterson pronouns debate, and he had watched some sort of video on it. But at the time, I guess I didn't really have any interest in watching it. But now that I had seen who Jordan Peterson was, I was like, huh, okay, let me check this out. I fell into an admiration for Jordan Peterson's commitment to freedom of speech. I certainly myself, even back then, would absolutely call people by the pronouns that they preferred. I would really, really love to respect people and what pronouns they choose. But at the same time, I was like, wow, I also respect Jordan Peterson's deep commitment to freedom of speech because I really loved George Orwell's 1984, and that book really shows how important it is to be able to speak freely. From there on, I watched a bunch of Jordan Peterson videos where he would go to schools in Canada, universities in Canada that is, but he would go to these places to give a talk. And all of the students would just be rioting. They'd be blasting air horns next to him. They'd be chanting and not letting him say one word. They would be so unwilling to listen to him and just to get him out of there. This just kept feeding me this image that the left was so overly sensitive.
And this is why one thing about him that I have to really commend is temperament, bro. Because again, I told you, I have really good emotional regulation.
Yeah, he's a saint with it.
You are not about to be doing that, like, because I think there's one video where somebody, I think it's him. They actually have like a blowhorn, and they blow it right by his head. That could put your eardrum out. I would have with the swiftness roundhouse kick that nigga in his fucking neck, and I'm done. Cause I got violent. I know why he's doing what he's doing. Like it's the right thing to do. But I'm telling you, they're gonna see me. I'm beating everyone's fucking ass. Me versus 100. Let's get it. I'm fighting everybody.
Okay.
Oh shoot. Yeah, I would argue that he's helped me become more patient. Cause I'm like, you can't get me out of my skin like that. But Jesus Christ. I come to a school, blah, 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 and just no one's going to help me. You're just going to let them do this to me? Like, I don't know. Maybe I just leave. I don't know. But, Naya, you were about to use that renewal taekwondo? Yes, sir. I'll be fighting. Right? I can't sit like that. No way. For me, it's when that guy did the blowhorn. That would have been like, yo, I could have went deaf. Now you're threatening my, like, actual safety. Hit you with a spinning bot kick.
Because my thing is, even if I don't agree, somebody with that, I would at least want to hear what they got to say. Now, at some point,
we're curious, though. We're curious.
Cause I'm not even a person where I'll be like, I could listen to somebody be like, this bullshit, they get up and walk out. But that's way better than fucking doing all what they were doing. That's just grow up. Like, you were raised better than that. If you don't agree with them, walk out the room. That's basically a form of silent protest.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with them, walk out. Doing all that, you just look like a clown. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of making yourself look like a clown. Basically, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna be a public speaker because I don't like arguing with people, especially people who choose not to listen. I actually love discourse. I just want it to be civil. I don't need unruly discourse. It's so unnecessary. I truly believe more often than not it's unnecessary. It's like, I think people should eat grass. I think they should eat leaves. Fuck you, bitch. Like, bro, it's not that deep. Let's just talk about it. Let's see if we can find some common ground, you know? I actually agree with that. Wait, hold on. Probably contribute to a series of ailments. The emotional stress was too much. We don't gotta cry to let people know we are emotional. Yeah, I'm kind of like that too. Like, it's just, I don't know. I always tell people I'm actually quite sensitive. I'm light skinned as they come. It's just, again, I'm not 12. I can't just, like, to me, if you're an adult and you are constantly, like, whining and crying and bitching and moaning all the time, and you're like, throwing temper tantrums, you're a child. That's what children do when they don't get their way. I'm not a child. I can't do that. I'm a man, so no one's going to care. And I'm black? I might scare somebody.
Find it. And honestly, like, even now, looking at those videos makes me feel unhappy. I understand if you don't like Jordan Peterson. I understand if you don't agree with what he says. But you're not going to change his mind, and you're not going to make a good impression of yourself if you're just screaming, if you're just blowing air horns and telling him to, like, fuck off or something. Then there was Jordan Peterson, amid all this chaos, who would sit there quietly, patiently, not retaliating, not insulting anyone back. I remember thinking, I want to be as tolerant as that. I watched so many Jordan Peterson videos. I probably watched him a lot more than Ben Shapiro because I found more value in Jordan Peterson's content, I think. He is less of a phony than Ben Shapiro, and I'll talk about why in a second, but all of these types of videos that I watched just gave me more and more reasons to believe that the left side is a side that wouldn't listen, and the right side were the people that gave you the truth, that gave you the facts. Hashtag facts don't care about your feelings. And I additionally felt—
I saw somebody say feelings don't care about your facts. That's a retort to this. I'm like, that's crazy. But you're not wrong.
I mean, it's true.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, we'll say you're not wrong. That's crazy, though. Yeah, for sure.
like I couldn't share my thoughts with anyone without getting judged or hated on. It only contributed to this feeling that the left was just polarized. And
I mean, yeah, I find that Jordan Peterson more palatable than Ben Shapiro by far. I think the biggest difference will always be that, like, honestly, if you ask me what Ben Shapiro is or does, I'm not sure. Like, what is he? Just a political commentator? Like, that his profession? Like, I don't know. Like, Jordan Peterson is a psychologist. He's a psychologist. He studied psychology. He's smart.
Yeah, right.
Whether you like him or not, he is highly intelligent. His IQ is off the charts. So I think off rip, just because he's more intelligent than all those people I know, I would argue, what he has to say is more valuable. Sorry, I didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I just mean, like, the reason I instantly dislike Ben Shapiro because it's just, like, to me, the whole aspect of going around and arguing with college kids and, like, slam dunking on them being your claim to fame, that's silly to me. That's not moving me. So it's just like, based off of that alone, I was already not.
I think he embodies the issue that Simi has with the right. That I think we both echo. They just crunch numbers all day. Statistics. They're like advanced analyst nerds in the NBA. They don't really watch the game. They don't know what the context and blah blah. They just tell you, 38-5, 14 for 26. You know, like, you can't tell the entire story with just numbers. Where we believe it's probably a blend of both. You gotta know the player, the chemistry, their pathway, blah blah blah, this and that, the other. Watch it, eye test plus statistics. That gives you the entire truth.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben being a law guy, Harvard Law. I think. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, fair enough. I was wondering. Till my blood runs dry. Don't lose your way. Don't be afraid.
I'm quoting songs, man.
I think is that Kill or Kill?
It's Kill or Kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like Blumenkrantz.
I really did try to challenge my own beliefs sometimes. You know, sometimes I would worry, am I consuming too much of the same content? Am I not listening to the other side enough?
You went down a rabbit hole.
I still have this one video in my watch later where it's like ripping apart Jordan Peterson's faux intelligence or something like that.
I gotta be honest though, anybody I've seen try to, like, criticize his intellect, I don't think they've had an argument there. You can criticize what he says or his ideas of what you don't like about what he said, but I don't think a lot of people who try to be like, I'm smart, like, I actually, like, you know who Rollo Tomassi is? The red pill, like, the red pill rational male?
Oh, yeah.
He kind of rips on Jordan Blott and Michaela, like his daughter and stuff, but, like, while I can understand what he's saying, but that stuff has more to do with intersex relationships and dynamics. But I don't think Rollo is smarter than him. Like, while I think he has points here and there, I'm like, I think my problem is when they try to act like he's dumb. Don't do that. Disagree, blah, 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 but he's not unintelligent. That's my problem. Don't do that. It's kind of like, you know how I told you I take issue with people saying Elon Musk is a moron? I'm like, I just don't think you could become a billionaire and be stupid. I'm not saying you're a genius. I'm not saying you know everything. You might just be a subject matter expert, but at the very least, you understand how to accrue finances and funds to that degree. You can't be an idiot. Candace Owens, I saw today, called LeBron low IQ. Disagree with that. I think LeBron does a lot of capping and posturization, and I don't like a lot of the antics that he does, walking around on the page of one of a bunch of books he's not fucking reading. But I don't think LeBron's an idiot at all, personally speaking. But again, you see how I could watch somebody and be like, wow, I still like them, but I don't agree with that. It's so fucking easy. It's so easy.
Let's say LeBron, another one who basically become. I think if he's not already a billionaire, he's becoming a billionaire. Can't be a fucking moron and do that. Even though, yes, he did play in the NBA and get a lot of money, but still, we've seen NBA players go broke all the time.
Yep.
He's invested and made an empire out of it. He's at least smart enough to know how to get the right people on his team.
There you go.
If nothing else.
And that counts for something.
Yeah, that's a talent.
That's all I'm saying. You know, so, yeah, I disagree with that. Her takes on Cardi B, though, I'm lock and step with her. That girl's a moron.
Like that. I really wanted to try to challenge myself to consider people who didn't like the same people I liked. I didn't realize it at the time, but by refusing to listen to criticisms of all these speakers that I had liked, I was failing at my own pursuit of truth. I've been rambling on.
How many white people has she attacked?
Me?
Or disagree with?
A bunch. Amy.
That's why I want to know.
Oh, Amy Schumer. Oh, damn it. I don't know all these people because I'm bad at Hollywood.
I just want to know if it happened. Like I said, I don't pay attention to these people. I don't
do you know the creator of Friends, the woman who created Friends, because she came out saying some ish like I don't think she just attacks minorities and people.
No, but my thing is I just hate it when they pop up on my TL and it feels like that's all they're doing. I feel like that's part of the problem too. That creates narratives and stuff. It's like, cause sometimes you only see these people when they're attacking a minority, and you're not going out of your way to look at them. So it's just like, why are they always attacking a black person? Why are you always attacking?
I think. All I can do is just tell you what I heard her say, where she's like, again, I disagree. I really think it was in bad taste to call LeBron just low IQ across the board. At the very least, you're gonna call him a basketball genius or some type of business mogul or something. Because again, is he a billionaire now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's either on his way or already is.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I disagree with that take, but her saying that he doesn't know a lot about what's really happening in like the country to that high level because he's not studying it and whatnot. I could agree with that, but I think there was just a better way for her to say. But shit, what did you ask me again? Oh, she was saying that she thinks that LeBron is actually well-meaning. His intentions are good, but he just thinks that he kind of just drops the ball, basically. So her whole thing is that she's kind of like in a camp with me where she wants black people to stop operating from this victimhood, everything's against me mentality and operate from a position of strength.
See, I've always agreed with that, but my thing is both could be true. We can want that, because I always feel like that comes from like kind of the school of like Frederick Douglass and stuff like that, because he was operating off that. That could be true, and we could also understand where it comes from. But my thing is, I hate people from both sides factor into both way too much. People that play into the victimhood all the time, that's annoying. And my thing is always, too, is that, okay, we're victims. What now? Is anything going to change from us being victims? No. So you got to get your ass up and go to work or do whatever.
Yeah.
You got to just navigate your space. And at the same time, we also got to understand that we can't just work and keep our head down and not fight for rights and stuff either, or not put your foot down on certain things. There's a time you have to know, and it is hard, not easy, but you have to know the time to fight and the time when not to fight. And people have a hard time balancing that in life, period. Not an easy thing to do.
Pick your battles, yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of how I've always looked at it too.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you have to know when to do both, and you got to know when something is wrong. Okay, maybe you don't know it's inherently racist, or maybe you don't want to believe that. Whatever. Fine. You still got to know you're being antagonized. and you need to find out why. You need to stand up for yourself, or you need to work with your union or whatever. There's a whole bunch of things that, like I said, I just, that's how I feel about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, well said.
Cause you don't always know. Sometimes you don't know.
Yeah.
But you gotta fuck it, find out.
But I genuinely do think she cares about the black community and wants it to be better. I really do. Like I said, if there's one thing about her that I believe is that of her, she's grifting this and that. I don't know all that. I'm not interested. But but I do think like the betterment and the care of black people and communities and families being more together is something that she's very, very adamant about. And I don't think she's particularly concerned with them having to be with other black people. She just wants them to be stronger family units, in general. So, because I do think
conversation about how we go about it.
Yeah. Because like you're probably with me too. With the problem with the right a lot of times too. Everybody, both sides of this, they just scream at how bad the other side is and how they want to like destroy you and take your rights away or whatever. And there's never any talk about tangible, possible solutions or bridging.
Right. Yeah, that's
it's just
like
like,
my thing.
just like, well, you know, if there's no guns, then like the bad guys have guns and they'll still kill us. So what's the solution? They'll keep our guns. Like you know, like there's never like a plan. Never a plan of action.
Yeah, basically that's always my problem. Why are we always just, you're quick to say, oh, they're fucking stupid for thinking this, but like what are the alternatives? And that's always the problem. Everybody just wants to take that superiority route and fucking just bash on the other one. But at the end of the day, that's why people who want to get their shit pushed through get their shit pushed through regardless. Like, you know why? Because they the ones doing it.
Yeah.
They don't care about y'all talking and being like, oh, you need it. You know, they go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
They go push it through.
Ashu, on the LeBron China controversy, I think they just told him to shut the fuck up. They need that money. And he just complied. I don't think he changed any. I don't think he had any opinions. I think he just walked it back about being like uneducated, I think, or something like that. Or this didn't bring it up again, if I remember correctly, right? I don't think he talked about it ever again, did he? Wasn't it only Daryl Morey who kind of didn't walk it back? Daryl was like, "Nah, I meant what I said, right?" I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think
Daryl's a GM too, so
yeah.
Fucking they just say get your ass out.
He went to Philly. He said, "Oh, whatever, Nate."
For a long time. So now I'll finally get to how did I start to move out of this stage in my life. So again, in comes my boyfriend. He seems to be a main character in this video. He told me that he had this friend who used to listen to Ben Shapiro and used to like Ben Shapiro a lot, just like I did at the time. But he told me that the reason why his friend no longer listens to Ben Shapiro is because Ben Shapiro is funded by oil companies and other conservative billionaires who clearly have political agendas. So I searched it up and you know what? It's true. And as much as anyone can say all of my opinions are completely my own, his show, himself, all of the tours that he gets to do, all of that is funded by these people. They give him tons and tons of funding, and he cannot do any of the things that he does without their funding. So I don't care what he says. He's always going to be at least slightly influenced by what his funders want. I know that all politicians have
yeah, we spoke about this. Like for us, that's not like another thing that's a big deal. It's just like, I mean, duh.
Yeah,
it's a very duh thing for me. I guess
a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, which I guess is weird. But I guess me and you, maybe we always understand the underlying bottom line will always be like get your paper, get your bread. You know, like.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about the YouTube thing the other day. We can't speak on, but yeah, it's just like at the end of the day, I understand. Like people, people run this as a job. They're getting paid off this, so yeah, there is some incentive to do certain things. Yeah, for sure.
It's like when people used to get mad, like why doesn't Kevin Samuels go back to like interviewing men, and it's like, well, if you do your research from top to bottom, or at least do a little bit, you'll know that it came from sales and corporate America. Money.
I mean, he was saying that from day one.
Yeah, but they don't care about that. They're just gonna try to attack him and say blah blah. But he was like, bro, because the first video of him I ever saw was him batting up some fat dude with a small penis or something. It's the first video I saw. Then I seen the clip of the average at best. Then he started to blow up. But I'm like, he's going to keep interviewing women because that is what is the most successful model for him. He's a businessman. That's why whether you agree with it or not is not what I'm trying to do. I'm just offering an explanation. So, how did I find this video? More people need to watch this video. Actually, Vince sent this to me. He said he said he thought I would enjoy it, and I definitely did. Vince sent this to me.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I'll be finding stuff.
Don't know how likely it is. I mean, I actually don't think I would have clicked on this video naturally on my own because of the way it's stylized, because it's all lowercase. It probably would have bothered me. But the next time I saw somebody speak like this, I think her name was Misha Petrov. I think I showed you that when we talked about a little bit earlier. I watched that one because she had like a similar journey, but she was talking about like changing universities because she was crazy liberal or too progressive, but she couldn't even like disagree with anybody. So.
Gotcha. I mean, I found this girl because my girlfriend made me watch a video of this girl talking about romance, and I was like, well, since she's making me watch it, I'll just chalk it up and see what it do. And then I realized that I actually think she's a pretty well-spoken person. Now, obviously, she's doing the YouTube speak thing, where people on YouTube, they talk in a certain slow, monotone way because that's like how the delivery is supposed to go for a lot of people when they make these type of videos. I see it all the time with like YouTube essays on anime and shit like that. So, but that's fine though. Like I said, I know all that stuff and it doesn't really bother me. I still think that like her talking points, that the things she's saying, like her journey makes a lot of sense. Even if I don't agree with every aspect or some of it is kind of like, naive. But even then, it's like a lot of people are just as naive or didn't know a lot of these things, because you got to think about these backgrounds too, because a lot of things too is that sometimes people who grow up in black households just expect everybody to know all these things, when other households don't necessarily talk about this. Like she said, her parents are immigrants from China. Were they talking about this type of stuff? No, probably not.
No, go to school, get good marks.
Yeah,
a lot of our immigrant parents just cared about education, really.
Yeah, they care about you economically and financially, you getting your life together, and educationally. But other than that, they weren't trying to like build you up for societal standpoint as far as just like communication purposes and stuff like that.
Yep. All right. Like 10 more minutes and it's done.
Sponsors. They all have people who are funding their campaigns and who they have to please. I know that. I know Ben Shapiro is absolutely not the only person who does this. But really, it was my mistake for letting a political commentator be someone I went to for the truth. I should have known better. Anyone in politics has an agenda. That I do believe. That was really the first step of me starting to be like, okay, are these people that I support really people who deserve my support? But I'd say the biggest game changer in all of this was when I went to university. Oh my gosh, university changed so much, because in university courses, at least the courses that I took, the professors were actually open-minded. My courses gave so much eye-opening material that was really interesting. For one, they were properly academic. They had good research, good evidence, not just random stats that you pull out of your head. And they had citations, and we had great discussions in class. I finally got to talk to people about things, which is what I was missing during my whole conservative phase. I always felt scared of being judged or being hated on, and so I never really got to talk to anyone about how I was feeling besides people who are in the same bubble as me, which is not good, right? That creates echo chambers. When I was in my seminar classes in university, I did get to have open discussions with people who didn't think like me, and my professors would challenge our thoughts, respond to us. That was what I needed. This is really why I believe education is so important. I know people always say like education is important for changing people's minds, but it's really true. I really think that we should invest more time into education, not just Instagram infographics for people to slide through and then forget about. I mean education in school and
Why would you read something on Instagram on a white or black background and believe it?
People do it all the time.
I've never understood that. What the?
Instagram and Facebook is the worst place. I mean, at least Twitter's bad, but at least like
Twitter has like verified accounts and people who really do this. I don't know. I can't explain it, but like, I literally see the randomest account. The account could just be like Freaky Moods with a Z, with a picture of a girl with a tongue out in the Avi, and it's like some random ass stupid fake quote, you know, feel good bullshit, and people are just like, oh my god, like it's just so like it speaks to like bro, it's not real.
Yeah, they so unserious. But I've never gotten it either. But I see it on Facebook all the time. Like you'll see people that you used to know in high school, and they go on Facebook and they posted, you know, conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I'm not a person that believes anything necessarily is 100% bullshit. There might be some small truth, or maybe it's different thing, but then it just gets out of control. But they just be on bullshit over there. I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, this is what y'all do all day.
Right?
Like,
all your stories is just a bunch of this bullshit. The spiritual miracle fucking I can't.
Yeah, it's always scary to me too how people can get it, you know, not to say that I'm like incapable of being indoctrinated, but sometimes I feel like sometimes the attempts are really obvious.
Yeah.
Or
like,
some things, or I just know that like this ain't it. And then I'm just looking around, like I'll give you an example. So
thank you, Ashu. I'm a real journalist. Go ahead.
4 or 5 years ago, I tried to get a job, and I was like, all right, well, I'll just do something. So I ended up taking a job, and I was like, oh, well, you know, they got a thing. I was like, okay, the interview process was kind of weird, and there's a lot of group people here. It's kind of strange. Then I went there for like a couple days. Then I went there for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, still ain't really done anything. You know what? I realized I was in a fucking pyramid scheme. I was like, all right, yeah, all right. But see, the thing is, they be having those pyramid schemes because I've never been to one, so it's kind of interesting to go to one.
Oh, was it one of those things where it's like the first level, blah blah? Oh my god, I think my ex-girlfriend brought me to one of those.
Right. They try to get you all hyped, and they're trying to tell you they're trying to basically.
I'm a 20-year-old millionaire.
They're really good at selling dreams. Yeah, they tell you that, but you never see any money.
Right.
They always say that like, oh, you know, you could build your back off this one, but you got to get even more people involved in this. So you have to have people under you and stuff. And I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, this is bullshit. And why is everybody clapping and everybody hype? And how come every time somebody joins this, they become like weird and not normal? So like for me, it's just automatic. Like I'm just like, I know what this is.
Infographics for people.
A lot of people can't do that.
I'll never get it, but it's definitely funny. Like, that's not real. Stop that. But all right, let's finish this off.
People to slide through and then forget about. I mean education in school and teachers and professors who genuinely care and try to teach. I remember that in the beginning of my university year, I went into one of my seminar courses expecting everyone to be radical leftists, but I actually found a group of people who were not afraid to challenge conventional thinking in front of everyone, in front of the whole class. It really helped to break my worldview that everyone who wasn't in SJW had to hide in the dark or something. Slowly, over time, here is where I started to realize that I've been a hypocrite. I believed that I knew the truth under the guise of being open-minded. But really, I was just as close-minded as the people who I accused of being close-minded. And now I started to become aware of the tricks that people like Ben Shapiro would use. And I just want to note that I'm probably going to have more issues with Ben Shapiro than Jordan Peterson, because again, I think Jordan Peterson does have some validity to things he says, and he does have some interesting content that I still find was valuable to listen to. Whereas Ben Shapiro, I kind of just drop everything. For one, what these popular conservative things.
The last Ben Shapiro video that I watched personally, and I did some additive research, was I think he was talking about the gold standard. And he was talking about America and the world changing like the monetary value from like what gold, the value of gold was. That was pretty informative. So.
Oh, never seen him talk about anything like that. But then again,
but for him, I watch very specific topics. But again, it's not for me. Like I've never been like, you know, like with her, she went down the rabbit hole. Like, oh my god, they're so great. But for me, it's just like, oh, they say things that I like and things I don't like, and I just no. Like for me, it never became like. Right, I guess I don't pervert paranormal relationships. It just you're just a guy on the computer talking to me. I don't know you. I don't think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't make it, you know, weird. So
yeah, it's very easy for people to fall into that though.
Yeah,
very easy. People do it all the time. I've done it. People do it. Not for no politicians though, or political people though.
I did it for Kobe when I was younger. Kobe was the only. Could do no wrong.
You do more sports stuff for real gaming people.
Well, Kobe's the only real idol I ever had though. That's the thing. I tell people about like celebrities and stuff. I never had idols and people I looked up to. Kobe was the only one. So I think the second closest you could have got at one point was Jay-Z, but I always thought he was kind of like not great looking. And I didn't want to sell crack, so like I wasn't interested. Is what.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You say you doing what? I'm not doing that.
So you don't think I'm what? What did I say? What did I do?
Often like to do is to use insulting names. They refer to people on the left as snowflakes, libtards, or social justice warriors.
I've actually never heard him say those words, by the way.
So that even before they tell you what the person on the left side has said, I'm already left with this impression that it's going to be stupid. It's going to be irrational. All of his like Ben Shapiro destroys videos are either college kids or celebrities who aren't supposed to be that well versed in politics or social issues anyways. He's going.
So here's actually the thing I'll say about this. Fair, good point. I understand that. But I think it's important in the sense that it's like you're a celebrity speaking out of your element, humble yourself. You're a fucking college student thinking you know everything about the world, humble yourself. I do think it's like low hanging fruit. I get that, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's like I do think that as young people we can think we know so much, and it's like, well, if Chris Pratt said it, like, bro, you don't know. This is not go act. You know, like I'm not mad at that personally, if that makes sense.
Cry. He said, "You getting your information from Chris Pratt." You already lost.
You know. I always go back to the Dave Chappelle. What would Ja do? What would Ja like? I don't give a fuck what Ja wrote.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest things. It's so right. It's like, what are we doing? Why do I care?
So yeah, safe space and snowflake. Oof. Yup.
Going to know how to trick these people into sounding stupid. I actually watched a video where Ben Shapiro talks to Sam Harris, who is smart. He's a neuroscientist, he's a philosopher, he also talks about political and social issues, and you know what? Ben Shapiro did not sound so bright then.
I definitely agree that the smarter his opponent is and well-versed they are, the less intelligent he can come across. I would argue, no matter what room Jordan Peterson is, he's one of the smartest people in the room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also I think Ben Shapiro just gets flustered. That's different though. You're talking about you were talking about Jordan Peterson's temperament. He doesn't get flustered. He doesn't get bothered. Even if he's wrong, he don't seem to be bothered by anything. Ben Shapiro, he starts like one time he freaked out on old dude on TV, on the political TV thing. And then he left. He walked on the set, and he even admitted himself that it was unprofessional or whatever. Oh, it's like, yeah, man, you look.
That's
silly,
why I can't. That's probably why I can't do it, because I'd be like, man, suck my dick from the bike and walk off the set. Like, so unprofessional. I couldn't do. I'm working on my professionalism, guys. I'm working on it.
You're not selling yourself as a political person or a role model.
I'm not. But yeah, reacting to these destroyed videos has become a profitable business for a lot of YouTube content creators. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, a lot of people main thing is profit.
Yeah, because I know I see a lot of people, like, after I watch it, I like a video like that. There's a video of like me reacting to Ben Shapiro destroying, smart ass college kid, and it's like, oh man, don't recommend channel, nigga.
Here's my thing too, because even with things that I like, even like we talking about the YouTube thing, even with people I watch on YouTube that I really really like I like Murphy a lot, but am I like supporting her Patreon? Am I buying her stuff? No, I'm not. So like,
yeah,
I like her, love her videos, I give her view count, I like or something, but like, I'm not putting money in her pocket per se, other than watching the video. Because I don't know her like that. I don't know what's going on before the thing. I don't know if that's her true persona or not.
Okay.
Just her, no disrespect towards her. I think she's nice, but
yeah,
I'm just using her as an example. But that's what I do. Like, I know personally, so it's easy for me to put money in his pocket if I decide to do so. But a lot of people, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they selling me. Selling me wolf cookies, man.
I mean, the only thing, one of the things that I hope that I do well when I come on here, just I can't just open up my heart and soul about everything in my life and stuff. Some things are private and personal, but I try to be as authentic as I can be. I just like what you see is what you get. I'm really like this. I'm just me. I don't think I'm special. I don't think I think there's one thing I'm pompous about is storytelling. I won't lie. I am pretty like condescending about storytelling, but that's really about it. That's really about it, Ben walked up after he put words in the host's mouth and called him a leftist. At least he apologized after. Oh shoot.
Yeah, that was totally he meltdown. Shit was crazy.
That temperament. But yeah, all right, this is almost done.
Other people as well, like Candace Owens, like the other people on Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, I don't know Matt Walsh. I think this guy's name is Michael Knowles. I don't know the bald guy on the left. I saw him at the Daily Wire's backstage show and stuff, but I don't know him. I only know these three. This is a terrible picture of Candace, by the way. But yeah, I imagine if I streamed, that'd be a limit. There'd be limited temporary or created content. Yeah. But my point is like I just try not to come on here and be fake. That's all. Like that's why I don't virtue signal. I tell you guys I'm a bad person because I don't. Don't want everyone to ever be like, he changed. He used to be the paragon of everything right. And it's like, no, I was never that. Don't associate me with that. I was always just a nigga just speaking his mind, talking some shit on the internet. That's all I am. Professional stripper.
Show, The Daily Show, these types of people are not very rigorous in their evidence. They might pull up statistics, but again, that's like a strategy for making the other person look stupid, right? How many people just have on hand, what's the exact percentage of the number of black people who were shot in 2015?
See, I thought that was the best point she made.
Really?
Because that's like, when you really think about it, that's crazy. Somebody just sitting there with that, just waiting. Like,
well, did you know back in 2014, April of 64, 445, like I guess like I think it's a solid point for something that specific, but it's the 21st century.
Yeah, we have the number, so you should use
if I'm in a debate with you and you say something and I'm not sure of it, you know what I'll just do right then and there? Look it up.
Facts.
So that's my issue. Like someone like let's just take Steven Crowder for example, with his like Change My Mind series and blah blah blah. Like I would just be like, okay, hold on, you mind if I fact check that?
See, but that's part of the problem though, yeah. Because the thing is, what they try to do is they try to beat your ass. They try to fucking force you to hurry up and answer. And if you can't do it, you can't do it. That's what they do sometimes.
Yeah. Because I agree with her. Like. There's certain stats that I've looked up enough that I can just tell you off the back of my hand. But if you were like, well, can you tell me in Chicago how many? Like, no, I don't fucking know that off the top of my head. But I can find out. But like, I don't know that for me. So yeah. Naya, you peeped the clip of Joe Rogan questioning the CNN doctor and a lot of BS they came up with. That was awkward. I did not actually. I did not. I'm not a what do Rogan fans call Roganers? I'm not a.
No clue.
I have seen like. Myself willingly watched about 4 Joe Rogan clips. One was with Gina. I watched one with some guy who was in prison. It was a very interesting story. I don't remember the other one. But no, I didn't see that. Honestly, I prefer to watch content creators who are just themselves. I may not share your opinion all the time, but I could learn things I might have not seen. I appreciate that. I'm not perfect. I know that. I think like it's like I hate like sometimes my girlfriend's like you're so perfect blah blah. I'm like I don't want that responsibility. I'm so flawed. Right. I'm so flawed, bro. There's so many things wrong with me. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So am I gonna have a name for my supporters as well? Do I need one? Someone told me to call them Namekians because it kind of blends into my first name. I'm like, I don't know if I like that.
Oh, cool.
For actual real name.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
I don't know, man. We the apes, man. We the concrete jungle. We the certified band members. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You got the snow yeti.
Yeah,
they could be something like that.
We are the unmoved.
Oh yeah,
like how many people actually just?
All right, let's just finish the rest. Okay, let's finish this segment at the very least, and then we'll talk again at 30, whatever, man.
Know that off the top of their head.
32
and
minutes and
when
18
they
seconds.
Do have a number
I'm struggling.
Off the top of their head, how did they pick that number? There are so many different studies out there, so many research papers that have been conducted and published. All of them have studied things in a different way, you know? You can operationalize variables in different ways. You can have different methodologies, which will all result in different percentages and different statistics. So there's always bias in research to begin with, and then there's further bias on what research they choose to present to you. So when Ben Shapiro chooses a statistic like, yes, violence against Black people has declined by 75% in the past 2 years, he's only picking one number out there, and it's probably a number that he likes. But there's also probably numbers out there that he doesn't like, and that he's not going to acknowledge. Now, they also have this tendency to lump people together and just use.
The only problem with that is the left doesn't back to the right too. So I don't remember if she claps back at that. Oh, she has that with a positive.
Big terms so that it sounds like what they're saying is correct. Jordan Peterson has his infamous neoliberal postmodernist Marxists, this group that he often refers to as like the evil people, when in reality, neoliberalism, postmodernism, and Marxism are all very different. Many of their aspects actually clash with each other pretty hard. They don't go together. So they're definitely not the same. If you want to hear more about this, you can definitely check out ContraPoint's video on Jordan Peterson, which
I watched this because I learned who this was like after the fact in this video. I don't think it's that good. I'll be very honest with you.
Gotcha. I just like that she brought.
No. I like that she's not afraid to criticize and say I don't agree with everything they do and stuff. But I think with the neo-Marxists, whatever, I think the problem is a lot of those people, while they have clashing ideologies, they all push a very similar overall narrative. Does that make sense? I think that's the ultimate thing. I got a little extra insight because I've literally read some of Jordan Peterson's literature, you know, so. Should probably, so she may be right, or she may not be. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Oh, she reads and stuff. That's what I like about her though too, is that she seemed like she's pretty well versed. Obviously, she was naive on something.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like she's stupid.
No.
Or like she just like this person that
she's not stupid to me because she's not above learning and correcting and growing. That's to me is always a good sign, you know. Like, yeah. All right. I'm a super lefty. Maybe I'm not. I'm super conservative. Maybe I'm not. Like, you know, like that's growing, that's learning, that's fine. She looks like she's like 20, like she's young, you know, so.
Yeah.
I thought was pretty good. As I finally watched more videos criticizing Jordan Peterson, I realized that he's a psychology professor for a reason. He doesn't always know what he's talking about when it comes to philosophical schools of thought and political issues. Now, here is the biggest selling point that pretty much all right-wing conservative speakers will use, and it is that they are giving the facts. Here is a statistic, so it's true.
No, actually, Jordan Peterson is not a far-right conservative. Jordan Peterson is a liberal. Jordan Peterson is a oh, shit, I got to do the spiel real quick. One of the weirdest things that's probably happening in our time is that if you're a part of a group or a collective and you speak out against it, you get ostracized immediately. So, Jordan Peterson is...
Quick, before you finish your turn. Weird thing about him, too, though, that I think makes it complicated, is that he's Canadian.
Yes.
People always live that out. So
yes.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of like you. You talk about a lot of politics stuff, but it's kind of weird because the two parties are... different. I mean,
ours are generally liberal and conservative. That's the major two, not Republican and Democrat. But we do have the new. You have the new Democratic Party, Green Party, and stuff like that. Yeah. I got you.
We're using certain terms to describe somebody who's not that sounds weird, but he's not part of the USA. He's part of Canada. So like, I don't feel like you can use the same terms. But go ahead, finish.
Yeah. So. Like so like yeah, it's true. It's weird. Even if I don't like Rogan, people like Rogan. Rogan is not right wing. He's not. He really isn't. Listen to him speak. That boy is a lefty. So is like Tim Pool. Tim Pool gets associated with the alt-right a lot too, but I would say he's center left libertarian. He said himself a lot too, but it's this weird thing where it's like, let's say there is 10 things that the left believes, and I disagree with one of them. That immediately ostracizes me from being a liberal or the left, and then I become alt-right. That's what seems to be happening with a lot of these people. So, no, Jordan Peterson is actually left-leaning if you really listen to him. But the spectrum of left versus right, it fluctuates as time goes on. Because I would argue some of the things that the left used to argue for, they argued complete opposite of. They used to be, in my opinion, anti-establishment. Like, F the government, F the corporations. And now they're like, no, we like censorship. Please stop hate speech and stuff like that. Like, they seem to be pretty buddy-buddy. But those things kind of change, whatever. Rogan endorsing Ron DeSantis does not make him right-leaning. You have to understand that no one act like that could completely change your entire political beliefs. You have to believe most things from start to finish. I'm not saying Jordan Peterson is like, Joe Rogan is like a good guy or great or whatever. I don't know anything about him. He's just a Fear Factor guy to me and the UFC guy. I don't have enough information. But a lot of people are a big fan of Ron DeSantis because he speaks to what a lot of Americans at their core seem to believe. Is very important. That's freedom and freedom of speech. And Ron DeSantis seems to be fighting for that. And a lot of people in Florida and Floridians people are going and flocking to Florida. This is based on my little preliminary research, by the way. I'm not an expert on this in any capacity. And that seems to be the reason why DeSantis is so popular. You know, I always said that the one thing about COVID and the lockdowns that I really didn't like a lot was forcing essential smaller businesses to close. If that's their only livelihood. If I own a convenience store, this is how I feed my wife and kids. I need shut it down. You might get the I can't work. I can't make money. You're effectively still killing me. He didn't do that. I know there was a huge group of people. That's why I find Ron DeSantis so interesting. Because he one of the most low key, polarized figures that I've seen in a while. Because I'll see something happen, and I'll see 30 tweets. Death Santis, he stink, he's the worst, etc. Whatever the case may be, and that's people are like, oh, I like him, he's good, he's great. I love what he does, what he stands for, or whatever. So it's interesting. So, well, I guess they came to just say Rogan is, endorsed DeSantis and left. All right, see you later. An actual cloud. Take care.
Here is scientific evidence, and so you must believe me, because if you don't, then you're against science.
Actually, blah, blah, really blah. Funny, this person who just came in, I don't know who this person is, came in the chat, who just kind of just did that and just said, he's on the right, he is trans, he endorsed, and it's left. That's a very left way, a tactic of coming across and actually a really good example of not wanting to talk and engage in conversation. You had your belief, you saw someone saying something that didn't jive with that belief, and you came and you left. You're a coward. You didn't actually want to have actual discourse about this. You wanted your beliefs affirmed. I'm not going to do that for you, loser.
So it creates this underlying feeling that if you don't side with us, then you are irrational. But I've come to learn that there are lots of conclusions that you can rationally
I don't respect that kind of
Rationality is just talking about the process of how you get from one thought to another. For example, if my mom comes home late, it's rational to conclude that she got caught up in traffic. It's also rational to conclude that she just had extra work to finish in the office. Both of these things are rational ways of thinking, but both of them are different conclusions. So it isn't as simple as these thinkers like to paint of getting to the right answer. You can't just think hard enough and then somehow you'll get to the truth. That's one of the biggest criticisms of rationalism itself. If I go back to that Larry Elder, Dave Rubin video for a second, I think there was one part...
A lighter analogy, you don't like this One Piece chapters, therefore you hate One Piece? There you go.
Oh, man, that reminds me of a certain video. We watched that one time.
Where he talks about how black people aren't disadvantaged in society because of their race, but it's because that so many of them grow up without a father. Which is okay, that's probably true, but... why do so many of them not have a father, right? And if you keep asking these
who's this
questions,
girl?
you'll see that
What's her name
so
again?
many
Olivia
of the issues
Sun?
are like deeply social
Yeah.
or deeply institutional. And these are the things that those conservative thinkers won't think about. They like to think about things as individual responsibility. And in fact, I found this personal responsibility idea quite inspiring at the time. And I still understand why some people would find it inspiring. Like, oh yes, this is your fault, but because it is your fault, you can fix it. If you just work hard enough, you can make things better. If something is institutional or a social problem, then you can't just fix it yourself, right? Like, it's a lot harder to fix that way. And so I guess I liked that idea of things being an individual responsibility.
Only an 8 out of 10.
Because then it felt like you could have control over what happened. Now, when I reflect back on this time in my life, one question that I find myself asking a lot is, do I regret going through this phase? And on one hand, I intuitively say yes, I regret it so much. Because for one, it cost me nearly a year of losing my relationship with some of my friends. I also just regret being a person who wasn't open-minded, who was a hypocrite, who listened to things that weren't kind.
I keep forgetting.
Ultimately, in the end, I do have to say that I am actually very grateful for having gone through this phase in my life, because now I've learned what it's like to fall onto that other side. I personally understand the mindset that some people might have. Those people who listen to Ben Shapiro, who listen to Jordan Peterson, who listen to all these other types of conservative thinkers, they're not all just evil, racist, sexist, homophobic people. They might be people like me. This experience in my life has definitely made me so much more open-minded and tolerant to other people. I really like that and happy about that. I think that this understanding what gets people to convert to the other side is really important, because it shows the left side's weakness. Understanding your own weaknesses is so powerful for actually changing and making good improvement. I hope that the left and people who lean left start to become more understanding and start to feel the urge to actually listen to the other side. While it's true that there are more people who are open-minded than I had been led to believe, there are still a lot of people out there, especially on the left.
I gotta start doing this more often when I
side
watch these videos.
Who just won't listen to the other side. They just like to believe that anyone
Remind me if I
who's
forget.
conservative is 100% evil. Now, that's a common conception that people have, and I really, really want people to try to change that. And I don't think it was a complete waste of my time. I still really enjoyed Jordan Peterson's Psychological Importance of the Bible series. That was quite interesting. You know, it didn't have to do with politics. It was what his specialty was, which was using psychology to analyze religion. I'm not even religious, but I found it very interesting. In general, this stage in my life has just made me think twice about what I read and what I consume now, which is always good in this day and age. Now, today, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not an SJW, I'm also not a Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, fedora guy. I just sit wherever I feel like it. I don't feel the need to define myself as left or right. I just believe what I think is true, or as true as it can be. And if that
I think that's the right way to go. I think that's, to me, that's like the right, like, I think that's all she got to say. Then we can wrap that up. And that to me is like the wave. Like, to not particularly fall on either side of the fence. You just go with what you truly believe and think makes the most sense to you, you know? So
absolutely.
So anyways, that was like, yeah, that's a really good video. Maybe I'll like post it somewhere. Or maybe I'll post it somewhere. Yeah, you know.
She got more. We could watch this maybe at some point when we're bored doing nothing.
Oh, for sure we can get that. But what you guys?
It was interesting though, because I want the love one.
Yeah.
You want to watch, so.
What did you guys? Oh shoot! Did you want to do that still?
We're gonna do it right now. But we can at some point.
Yeah, that one's short. That one's like 17 minutes. But yeah, post your face somewhere. That's how everyone should be. Now it's time for the game. I'm so tired of y'all. So tired of you. I'm gonna be thinking about these damn frogs. Ah, shit. I once found myself in a pretty left-leaning server, and boy, it was weird. There were some really cool folks, but some zany folks. I think being Vince could probably admit that, like, it's probably harder to get along with some of them because of the way they move. And honestly, if I'm being real, the people that they idolize who share their political beliefs kind of move similarly. Are you familiar with Hassan Piker?
Heard of him, not familiar though.
I haven't seen too much of him, but he engages in a lot of ad hominem. I'm not a fan of that. Like, say he's watching me, he'd be like, "Look at this fucking gap-toothed, big-headed bitch." like that's kind of that's kind of how he acts, right? So I think a lot of his community in turn take that and like they run with it, and he's like extremely popular. I think ever since Destiny got kicked off of Twitch, he's the most popular political streamer. So yeah, I think it's him. So like, there's this girl. Remember, I think I sent you that video. I thought it was funny. Maybe you didn't watch it. I know Simi did. of Brett Cooper, I believe, and she was talking about the dad who was freaking out that his son was traditionally masculine, right?
Oh, I didn't finish that. I didn't even get a chance.
Okay, but what the first thing that he pretty much says in the video, I didn't watch the stream entirely, so maybe I'm missing context. I'll be honest, right? Was that this fucking girl hurts my brain because she looks like she's fucking like feminized Ben Shapiro. What does that have to do with any argument that she has to say or not? That she looks like Ben Shapiro. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very childish, and I don't think that does anything good for your audience. As a matter of fact,
it's cheap. It's cheap value.
As a matter of fact, what Think Before You Sleep says. Actually, I'm not gonna play this video. I don't know. Maybe one day, if I really think it's important and we should really do this, I'll go through this entire video. But let me just pull it up real quick. I think I took my thing off. Yeah. Window capture. Right here, I Think Before You Sleep. If you look at the top video, it's you'll see Ludwig, Hassan on the left, and Vaush on the right. And he's talking about how people are radicalized. And he basically takes these people attacking him and saying he's dumb or ugly or right-wing, incel, small baby dick, pasty white guy, whatever they were calling him and stuff, and shows you that when you do this, when you have that type of following and fan base and you're not careful, you politically charge them and you make them radical and they go and they attack other people. I think it's a really good watch, honestly.
That sounds like a good thing. I think that's something I feel like everybody should watch regardless of size.
Yeah, but it's hard to get. I mean, first of all, it's long, so I understand that. It's time constraints and crunch and stuff like that, so it's long. I mean, I'll sit through all that, but yeah, I wanted to share that video just because I thought it was cool and important. I'm probably gonna post this on both the other channels, the other ones. But got any final words for the people?
Just be cool, man. Just don't be weird. And also, just because, there's a bunch of weird liberals don't mean you gotta be a complete contrarian and start saying crazy shit towards them.
Actually, thank you. You reminded me of something I wanted to say. Making your entire brand anti-woke and or uncancelable is cringe as fuck.
Absolutely.
I don't drive with that. Like, I'm uncancelable. I'm just anti-woke. I make anti-woke content. Like, bro, all right.
Yeah, because I caution people. I remember you and me were having a conversation about like a month or two ago. I said you gotta be careful because people are quick. Because you're not one of those guys, but people are quick to label you, against the left. Cause
yeah.
Be the target point against you like that. And then
I'm alt-right, guys. I'm conservative. People say I'm conservative. I'm not. I always say I'm more conservative than I realized, but I'm not. So.
Yeah, but I try to tell people you just gotta watch yourself to define life. You don't need to fight every fight.
Exactly.
On either side.
Yeah, Hoseki no Kuni seems to be a series right up your alley. A good combo of. I actually like that's a series with the weird animation.
The gems.
Yeah.
The gems. Yeah.
I remember. I think I didn't get far, but maybe I'll give it a fair chance someday. But fair enough. Recommendation: Fill in the Gap by Tuji. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Live and learn. Here we go. Hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn. Sorry. Everyone's fighting their own battles. Try to be more understanding, please. Final words are putting something in the water. Turning the... I'm so tired of you. Turning the frogs. Hold on. I gotta do this. This frog talk is moving me, bro. I gotta give him the blade. I gotta give him the blade for that, yo. I gotta do it. But anyways, don't be afraid to acknowledge your weaknesses and be more open-minded. Also, Gintama was peak fiction. I'm not mad at that. And there you go. All right, y'all be safe. These fucking frogs, man. I gotta find that.